and they have Cooper too, right?
Yeah.
Is that Cooper 55? Yeah.
There's a lot of kids in that. Cooper, Elijah, Ty,
Yeah.
all of them almost.
I love that when I see them like helping each other out between plays or even afterwards. They know each other, right? While playing together.
Did you miss the big somewhere? Whatever. Or were you?
I think there were times when Kai was a little bit cool. He joined the gym in the summer, which was good. That kept him doing something. Like Kai's one of those kids that needs to move, that needs to do stuff. Finn can lie in his bed all day and he's fine. So it's good that Kai realizes that about himself and finds outlets for it.
You text me frequently about them, and I'm like, I'll keep you posted, but you got a chance to get them to play.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I think a little bit of nudging. Yeah, I think Kai would do.
Yeah. I was a little bit concerned about the level up and whatever and being worked all over again. I'm like, one of the best players on the field.
Yeah, that's right.
It's all good.
Yeah. And what I've noticed is he's really been working on like avoiding like big hits. Like he's really like always, but just kind of sneaking down, keeping low to the ground, like.
Oh, some of them in the green 9, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. That's which one?
The one on the right.
You probably know them all.
One on the right is the big one, but
Were you at the game at ECI this year? What's the number? It was almost 3 hours.
senior game.
Yeah. Like the refs.
Well, the ejection for Josh.
Yeah, it was like a little head tap and yeah.
That meant forceful head contact.
But they would meet. I don't know if you saw it on the green film, but they would like throw a flag and they'd meet for, I'm not even exaggerating, 5 to 7 minutes to talk about what to do. Like you either know it or you don't. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Was it 3 games? I didn't realize it was. I thought it was just 1. I thought it was that game and then 1 more. No.
That rule needs to be evaluated. These refs like to involve themselves and they're like constantly freezing.
Yeah.
What
Right.
about this case?
No. What? Well, there's actually like a big one. That's what I mean. So it's fine. Yeah. Sorry.
The boys were telling me about Mo's car accident. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, you're right there.
Is he dressed or is he?
Sounds like.
Oh no, 10, right?
He's okay though.
Yeah.
A bit of a scary whiplash situation. He's alright.
Apparently his car is total.
I told him he doesn't need that.
What's that?
Like, you don't need to be driving a car.
No, no.
And like, your parents maybe, but don't waste your money on your own. If they would do it, I'll have two more months, so it would not be.
Offset for sure, right?
Toronto Bowl, the Metro Bowl,
But they're not guaranteed
Forgot how many steps it
the
was.
Metro Bowl, right? If they have to win the Toronto Bowl to play in the Metro Bowl, you know how that works?
no, yeah, that's
Yeah, that's right. But the offsets they told me they're guaranteed.
Holy crow, man. Am I out of shape or what? Oh,
your legs or your...
She's not. She looked at the forecast and she said I'm out.
Fair enough.
I just texted her that we're in a pretty dry area. And she was like, "Good for you."
Surprisingly.
I'm surprised always how much I see them.
Okay.
I came prepared this time.
They do. Yeah, they actually do
They
like.
act like they don't, but they do. I remember when I first saw him in grade 9, I felt like, I'm like, he's going to be good.
I remember you said that to me. I think the first time I met you.
Yeah.
Way ahead of
Yeah.
kids his age.
And someone tried telling me there's another one. I'm like, where? Like, his brother.
They make more.
I'm like, where is he? Like, on defense, I'm like, let's see if he can catch. Turns out he was better at tackling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they did that before high school, too, right?
Yeah, they did that before high school, and even at a young age, Kai would say to me, "Let's go out in the yard, and I want you to like throw me passes. I'm gonna run routes and catch." Like,
Very interested to see how they play him. Trying to double up on him, or they're not figuring it out. I told Alex, that safety's on Kai's side. Try and move him over and see if that's what they're doing or not.
yeah.
They got the Eagles tank for the Western team. We're not going Yeah.
Even if it's on the court, we can do it from here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're in the color code.
Sorry.
I got Hayden Farrell's on his team. That kid's a superstar.
Oh, we got the program. I mean, you know all the players in here. Tim, you know all the players? Okay.
Program? That was a whole 10 minutes ago. I don't know. I can't remember that. Oh, nice.
We got a mic. Right over here, gentlemen. So we don't have a flag anywhere, so we're going to do the party up and then we're going to hand it to
Hey, Brad. Hey. Good to see you. We kept this spot dry for you.
You and Sarah.
Okay. Brad, this is Coach Tim. I don't know if you guys have met before. This is Max's.
He's there? Oh yeah, Coach Max. Yeah, years ago. Yeah. How's his back? How's that?
I've heard of Coach Tim.
How's his back? It's been bugging him for a year.
Yeah.
Coach Tim.
Tell him to bring the mic down. Check the mic.
Your wife's still in the house, and your thought was crazy last week.
One way or the other.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. And down on the other side,
He's staring off.
I find it funny they got the football inside of a plastic bag and you can dry Everybody else gets football.
Yeah. There's some studs here.
Especially for a senior season, like power shaman games right afterwards, right?
oh, okay, got it.
Finals.
Yeah, that's right. We're all. Yeah.
Now it's Florida. That first game we went to, you didn't save the seat for me.
Yes.
Do you remember that? He said it's $40.
There's no negotiation, Brad.
But we also would,
But he also said you're going to get coffee and beer.
totally, right? So he had a good value.
And you know, Sarah's is only 20.
Welcome to Rob Ford Stadium as we get set for the TDSSAA Senior Tier 1 Football Championship featuring the Western Tech Colts and the Etobicoke Rams. Dan McKeel alongside Dan Domenico as we bring you all the action. And certainly, Dan, we've got the opening ceremonies here led by the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 10 Color Guard. The anthem singers, courtesy of Etobicoke School of the Arts. Etobicoke School of the Arts and their teacher, Patricia Warnock, and the anthem singers who've done an outstanding job here today. Dan, we've got a great matchup here with the Etobicoke Rams and the Western Tech Colts, two teams that are very familiar with playing in city championships.
Well, these two teams are clearly the two best teams in the league this year, and Etobicoke was undefeated, but really their closest, one of their closest games was against this team, Western Tech. Both teams have athletes, both teams have size, both teams have speed, and it'll be interesting today to see how well they'll be able to execute given sort of the conditions, the very wet and windy conditions we have right now.
You're familiar with that from your time when you were a coach with the Northern Red Knights. You played here against Etobicoke Rams one time in a city championship, so you're very familiar with the conditions.
Well, I'm very, I'm really used to this particular field. I mean, the one thing you do find is that you get a very strong wind that can blow across the length of the field that can really disrupt for the special teams, and I think both teams are aware of this, having played in this location for many years. But, still, it's who executes in these type of conditions. It's cool, it's wet, it's windy. It just makes everything a little more difficult.
Just looking at the officials for this matchup, the referee, Henry Chu, the umpire, Joel Wood, the line judge, Richard Tyrell, the back umpire, John Duffin, the back judge, Dave Kersinger, and the timer is Ted Goldberg. We only go with the best here on this broadcast.
Well, and as we've known Henry for many years, Coach, he's refereed in the CFL all the way down to the high school level. It's just, it's a pleasure to see we've got a top-notch crew out there today. So I'm sure there's nothing the coaches are going to argue about today at all, right?
This is unbelievable. Also out there is Matt Black, former star player with the Toronto Argonauts and ambassador for the MLLC in this game today. He's the representative
Northern Red Knight. I can't believe you didn't say that. So.
And I knew you were going to bring that up, Dan, and certainly identify Matt Black as a star player. He played back when? 2007, 2006?
He would have been even earlier than that, 2003. And, of course, he's famous for having that really important interception in the end zone that sealed Toronto's Grey Cup victory a few years ago, right?
In Ottawa, when he had the interception. 2015 Grey Cup, or the 105th Grey Cup.
I knew you'd remember that. So.
Oh, yeah. As it's a very rainy day here in Toronto, and we're getting set for the opening kickoff. The Etobicoke Rams will be in the white, Western Tech Colts in the dark jerseys. The head coach for Etobicoke Rams, Alex Dozen, who is also the offensive coordinator, and for the Western Tech Colts, the head coach, Russ Hoff. Stephen Espy is actually the head coach, and Russ Hoff is the assistant. And they've got quite a coaching staff, upwards of 5 coaches listed.
Well, between Paul Diaz and Russ Hoff, there's many years of experience right here in the coaching ranks of these two games. So, this is, both these coaches are used to these type of games. They're used to these type of conditions, and I'm looking forward to a great game today.
Looking at the anthem singers, and I can't highlight them enough with the anthem singers, including Madeline Crummy, Sophia Texera, and Allie North. Here's the kickoff for the Western Tech Colts, and it goes to the Etobicoke 40. Here's the run back. Cutting inside on the play was Keith Agba, and brought down at the 50-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Etobicoke Rams. We can see what they're coming out with, Dan.
Well, I've in watching, several, I've seen these teams both live and on film or video. Film, I guess that's a pretty outdated term, right? But that kick right there, that short kick to the sidelines, is something that Western Tech does a lot. I mean, it could be because they fear the run backing capabilities of the Etobicoke team, as I said, that has some really tremendous athletes.
Here's Etobicoke as they set up. Receivers wide. And good look at the starting quarterback for the Etobicoke Rams as they hand off, and going to try and run that one up the gut, Dan.
Well, one thing that we know about Western Tech is they have some size. They have some big boys right in the middle. So will they be able to hold up for the entire game? How tired will they get if Etobicoke starts making them run around? That could really determine in this particular weather how well Western Tech can compete against this very strong Etobicoke team.
This is Mihailo Grahovic, the quarterback for the Etobicoke Rams. He's in shotgun. Got motion in the backfield. They're going to pitch and run this one wide on a sweep. And he didn't get too much in the way of yardage. He's brought down just over the 50-yard line.
Well, a great job that time by Levi Augustin. He's the defensive lineman. He was the defensive end there who strung the play out. Now, he didn't actually make the tackle, but he was able to force the running back to have to cut back to the inside where, of course, they got the help from the rest of the defensive core. So a great start there by Western Tech.
And Kai Lilac as the slot back on the play. Etobicoke electing to kick. They're going to come out here with the punt team. And one lone running back for the Western Tech Colts. This one goes out of bounds on the play.
So we've already seen this. Now I know, this is going. As I said, this could really determine how coaches call the game today if they see what sort of yardage they're getting on special teams. Like we saw, they barely got 10 yards on that kick. You saw that Western Tech intentionally decided to kick a short one. I have a feeling they're afraid of putting the ball up in the air too much, given the prevailing winds.
So this will be a good opportunity to see Western Tech Colts take the ball at midfield. Henry Chu, the referee, blowing the whistle, moving the yardsticks.
Now, Western Tech has an interesting offense in that, they have some big boys up front, and so ideally I think they'd like to run the ball, given that they have a couple of very strong running backs. However, they are not afraid to take deep shots every now and then. They're willing to put the ball in the air and throw it long if they have to, or they find they have an advantage.
Here's the Colts in action. And Nate Hallfounder, the quarterback, in a shotgun situation. It'll be a second down situation for the Colts.
And this is exactly what I'm talking about, the weather, okay? Jamal Samuels, the wide receiver right there was wide open. It was a great throw that time. It just went right through his fingers. And again, we're just starting the game. The ball is just starting to get wet, and it's in that slippery mode. The players are going to have to adjust and catch the ball more with their bodies as opposed to just relying on their fingertips.
Especially when it's a brand new ball as well.
Yeah.
Second down situation for the Western Tech Colts. They're in I formation.
Well, and it's interesting you say that, Dana, because unlike the pros, where they get to have special balls that are all rubbed down and treated with compound and made to be, sort of tacky for, right off the bat. In our game here, you get a brand new ball and you try to rub it down a little bit, but as you said, it can still be pretty slippery right off the bat.
No doubt it will play a factor here today. Three receivers coming off the line. They elect to go up the middle. And that's a gain of about 8 on the play.
James Gabriel, number 1, is their all-around running back. He can catch balls. They throw the ball to him. He's got speed to get to the outside, yet he's still tough enough, not being a very big guy. He's only 5'8", 160, but he's not afraid to run inside. And that, along with the combination of our other running back, I believe it was Richard. I'll get the name right. I don't want to make a mistake there. But they have a strong 1-2 punch with their running backs. And this is going to be the challenge for Etobicoke today to see if they can stop their inside run game, which then opens up everything else for Western Tech.
Here's Western Tech in a third down situation and 3. Early in the going here in the first half of this TDSSAA championship game, and the quarterback, Hallfounder, is going to take it out of bounds on the play, but that's a first down for the Western Tech Colts. They're going to move the sticks.
I don't even think that was. I don't think that was any sort of a read option either. I think that was just a straight quarterback run. You saw the running back step up and make a block. Really nice job that time by the quarterback Nate Hallfounder to get the first down.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it's Jamar Shakes is the other running back that I was talking about, along with James Gabriel, and they form. You can see Jamar is a big boy, and he has no trouble running inside. 190 pounds. He's quite a load to bring down.
Hallfounder with the pass, and is intended for number 12 on the play. Jamal Samuel just couldn't make that happen. He was into man coverage on the play.
Yeah, it's for Elefounder. I've seen now over the last couple of games that I've watched. You know, he does best when he's back in the pocket and steps up and throws the ball. When you get him to move and he has to throw, you know, as he's on the run, especially running to the left-hand side here, that's a very tough pass. He had his receiver open, but as I said, in these type of conditions, that's a difficult pass for anybody, no matter a high school quarterback.
Wow. Western Tech Colts, second down situation, 2nd and 10. And they're at the Etobicoke 40. Elefounder looking for the pass. Outside, it's caught. And the Western Tech Colts are close to a first down. And the receiver goes out of bounds on the play. That was David Cruz, the receiver on the play.
And to my point, when you see him, when he stays in the pocket and throws the ball, he throws a nice ball. And that was really well executed right there. They moved the chains. I'm a little surprised, though, that they haven't tried to. I think they've been successful running the ball. I'm surprised they haven't tried pounding it up the middle a little bit more just to see exactly how well Etobicoke can stop them. But you can't argue they're moving the ball here.
So this is a first down and 10 for the Western Tech Colts. And the ball placed on the 23-yard line. Elefounder, and they're going to go with a quick pitch. That was James Gabriel as he tried to make the cut inside, and he was brought down on the play.
And if we look at the defense right now for Etobicoke, it's almost like they're challenging him to throw the ball as well, because they're playing their defensive backs. They're almost playing press coverage with just a cover one on top, which means everybody else is playing. Either they're playing a very quick zone, or they're playing man to man, and so they're daring him to throw the ball, making it a little bit more difficult for the run.
We got trips on the left side. Here's Elefounder in shotgun. And they're going to pitch. Go wide on the outside. This again is James Gabriel. He's seeing some pretty good action here in the first half.
Well, this is a running play that they feature quite often. They went into the I, but they had two backs, and you could see the lead back. Okay, the fullback in this case, which we talked about before, is Jamar Shakes. He just does a lead block, and they pitch the ball to Gabriel, and he just uses his speed to get outside. So, I mean, again, 5 yards on the play. You know, if you can move the ball 5 yards at a time running, you know, you're going to be in good shape.
3rd and 5 for the Western Tech Colts. And they're going to set up for the field goal attempt. And it's good. 3-0 Western Tech Colts as they open things up with 6:26 left here in the first quarter of play.
Yeah, both teams have kickers
field
that can
goal
kick,
attempt.
and we can see well executed that time. And again, you know how everything is just a little more difficult when the ball is wet. A lot of pressure on the holder that time, but it was a great job of execution by
3-0 Western Tech Colts as they open things. They certainly open things up, Dan, and it's been an exciting year for high school football as well. The 4 teams in the senior Tier 1 division, and they're very familiar with each other. So when it comes up to games like Friday Night Lights, these guys attract crowds.
Well, and you know, and certainly these teams are used to each other, and you know, you can sort of throw out whatever happened in the regular season. I mean, last week Western Tech, you know, was certainly the better team against Northern, even though, you know, in the first round of the playoffs, even though Northern had beat them during the regular season. And so, I mean, just the fact that, you know, they lost, or I should say Western Tech lost 20-11 in the regular season, you know, the game was really a battle back and forth. The defenses dominated, and a couple of big plays made the difference. So in a game like this, anything can happen.
Western Tech Colts coming in, averaging 22 points offensively while allowing 12 defensively. Here's the Etobicoke Rams on the kick return. Jay Shepard with the ball.
Well, I think they're going to re-kick it here because the defender on the far side, in fact, standing right in front of the official, went offside. Not the best place to go.
Here's the Etobicoke Rams on the kick return. Jay Shepard with the ball.
And, you know, and that's just one of those things you can't have happen, especially when the referee is standing right in front of you.
Looking at Tyler Richards trying to bring down Jay Shepard on the play. That took a lot of effort. So the Etobicoke Rams will take the ball and be first and 10.
No, I'm pretty sure they're going to make them re-kick this because they're not only will they have to move it back, they're going to get a better chance to run the ball back.
I'm glad you identified that, Dan, and certainly give us another chance to see the punt return team for the Etobicoke Rams. Looking at their record as well, 4-0 coming into this game, and that included wins over Northern, Richview, Western Tech. Richview in the semifinals, 33-18. They average 26 offensively and 9 defensively.
They were the class of the league, but certainly Northern and Western Tech gave them battles in their games, right? But again, today's a whole different.
Yeah,
this is a trouble. Oh, great job by number 6.
And recovered quite well right there at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, really nice job by Finn Liliak there, realizing that he didn't have any help behind him, so he got on that ball quickly, and that was an excellent kick. A whole different time by the Western kicker to put it into that open spot. Oh, great job.
But see, the bottom line is, though,
they gained almost
right there at the 35-yard
6 or 7 yards from where they would have been previously. Yeah, really nice job.
This is a battle between the hash marks in midfield. In a second down and 10 situation for the Etobicoke Rams. Well, correction, they'll fix that. First down. It's first and 10 for the Rams.
Well, both teams are probing right now. One of the things I expect to see Etobicoke do is they're going to take a shot into the seam somewhere along the line here. And I'll explain that in another minute.
And a fake and a fumble on the play. It was intended for Jay Shepard, and he dropped the ball as the quarterback pivoted twice in the handoff.
Yeah, a little trickery. They looked like they were faking the reverse, and then they tried to hand it back to the running back underneath. But that as soon as he dropped the ball, the time was completely lost. Now the reason why I said I think Etobicoke is certainly in their first game they scored a touchdown and had a couple of big plays on throwing the ball in the seam. And what I mean by the seam is that Western Tech plays a cover 3, and what that means is they're playing a zone, but they have 3 men deep, but those 2 alleys are wide open, and that's what you try to attack as an offensive coordinator.
Second down and 10 for the Etobicoke Rams. Here's Jay Shepard with the ball. He cuts inside on the play, and he did. He got a lick.
Toby Bednard, 275 pounds of
what is he
full of?
Love.
There you go. Absolutely. He's a load and a force, and he just took him down.
And the flag came down on the play as well, so the officials are going to talk this one over.
Well, typically it's in the area of holding, right? And considering he lost yardage on the play, they're not they're going to decline the penalty and let the play stand and force Etobicoke to punt.
So the ball placed on the 33-yard line.
We have a real strong start here by Western Tech in this game.
Etobicoke with a 3rd down and 12 situation. The punt team out on the field. And there's the kick. It's strategic. It bounces at the 50-yard line of Western Tech. And here's the return. Number 7, David Cruz on the play. And we've got another flag on the play.
I'm not sure if that was whether he gave him the proper yardage there or not, but I think this is one thing we're going to see with the kicking teams are, clearly it's tough kicking for both teams, and if you really want to get some sort of an advantage on the punt game, you have to catch the ball in the air. You can't let the ball bounce around. So we'll see if either team makes adjustments going into the game, or whether or not moving their receivers up to try to catch the ball in the air.
So here's the Western Tech team pulling up to the scrimmage line. This group has been together for quite a while as they grew through the junior ranks as well. Very strong junior program at Western Tech. 4 receivers coming off the line. Here's Elefounder looking to go long distance on the play. And into single-man coverage. That was intended for number 12, Jamal Samuel.
Well, again, to me that looked like a cover 1. What I mean by that, there's 1 deep safety. Everybody underneath is being covered man. So they tried to throw the ball into the seam, and he was open initially. The throw was a little bit short and a little bit late. If it had been earlier, there was a real good chance. But again, in these conditions, it's not the easiest thing to throw that ball. But as I told you before, they are not afraid to throw the ball down the field, this Western Tech team.
Yeah. Elefounder really showcasing the arm. Here's Elefounder in shotgun, a quick pitch again. This is to James Gabriel. He cuts inside on the play. And he'll get about 5 or 6 yards on the carry.
I think he's got first down here, Dana. We'll see where the mark is.
Looking at the officials. And they are going to move the sticks. That's a first down for the Western Tech Colts.
Yeah, that
a
last
quick
little
pitch
juke
again.
here.
This
We're
is
going to see it right out here, right now. Boom, out there. That got him the first down. See how he evaded the tackler there, 25, or at least was able to get enough yards before Carter Day was able to push him out of bounds.
The defensive back and very solid individual out there playing for the Etobicoke Rams.
You know, right now, Western Tech is clearly having their way. They're moving the ball on the ground. You know, they've been threatening in the air. Well, Etobo's going to have to make some adjustments here.
Here's Elefounder again, looking for the quick pass, and he couldn't get it off. He was knocked off balance.
Yeah, good job that time by Graham Tulloch, who really put the pressure on
make some adjustments
Elefounder and
Here's
stopped,
Elefounder
you know,
again,
really stopped any chance for him to complete this pass.
Yeah, looking at number 12, Jamal Samuel, the intended receiver on the play. And between him and James Gabriel, they're getting a lot of action here in the first half.
Well, and Samuel has been open 2 or 3 times now here. He's basically running a little stop route. He's going out in a little hooker curl. It's just, you know, the timing and getting the ball to him has been the issue.
Second down situation for the Western Tech Colts here in this TDSSAA championship game. Senior Tier 1 at its best. Here's Elefounder being chased out of the pocket. He's got 2 Rams players going after him. He's going to run it himself. And he goes out of bounds, and he waked out the yard marker while he went out of bounds on the play.
Well,
championship game.
And I don't want to laugh about this, but
Senior
if you
Tier
take a
1
look
at its best. Here's Elefounder
the
being
player
chased out of the
it's one
pocket.
their
He's got
players that
2
has the
Rams
cast on.
players.
He's the one that took the brunt of that. right
Holy
now.
smokes. Well, that was quite a collision, and it took out the yard marker on the play.
And clearly that's Mason Ward, who's 6'4", and, you know, 240 pounds. He's a big boy, but, you know, when somebody's running at you like that, you know, you're just glad nobody else was really hurt badly at all.
Keith Akba in on the play as well for the Etobicoke Rams. That's a highlight moment right there, taking out the yardsticks. Hopefully that young fellow with the cast on his left foot didn't suffer any injuries.
Well, he looks no worse for... Oh, yeah, I saw him give him the thumbs up now, so he's no worse for wear anyways.
Elefounder hands off. They run what appeared to be a crossbuck, and they go inside on the play.
Yeah, well, you know, again, they tend to go up the middle with shakes.
worse
They
for
tend to
wear.
go
I saw him
outside
give him the
with...
thumbs up now, so he's no worse
with
for wear
Gabriel this
anyways.
time. It was to shakes. And like I said, they're getting decent yardage, you know, on their first downs.
Jamar Shakes, a premier running back for the Western Tech Colts. Ball played at the position at the 31-yard line. It's second down for the Western Tech Colts.
Well,
And we'll see what Elefounder is going to call. He's looking over to the bench right now.
Well, I think they're in a position where they may be, you know, in 3-down territory still. I think, you know, given the conditions, they may want to get a little bit closer before they decide to...
They hand off again to Shakes, but he's short of a first down.
Oh, they'll go for it. Telling you right now, they're going for it. 3rd and 2, you know, given that it's, you know, given the weather conditions, it's not a for sure field goal from 37, 38 yards. And also given the fact that Western Tech has been able to run when they've needed to. So we'll see what happens.
So the ball placed at the 25-yard line. It's a 3rd down situation for the Western Tech Colts. Geez, whenever we mention Western Tech, we always have that vibration of Jim Pasanchin and Robin Pasanchin, who used to coach the team.
Oh, my gosh.
And we got flags all over the place.
I'm sure they took too long. That's a killer right now on 3rd and 1 or 2 to take a
time count violation, and they'll back that one up.
And that might also just put them out of field goal range as well, but we'll see what happens.
See the range of the kicker. But certainly, Dan, Western Tech Colts have had so much in terms of when it comes to coaching, and they've always had the coaching there at Western Tech.
Well, as you mentioned, the Pasanchin brothers were, my era, and we had many great battles both at Northern and at Ravenna Field.
Ravenna Field,
Ravenna Field.
The famed Ravenna Field.
The Humberside Western Tech home field, and some fantastic battles over the years, and Russell Hoff is just and Stephen Espy are just maintaining the tradition here right now. Now,
Former star quarterback Mario Storino, the quarterback of the Vanier Cup Toronto Varsity Blues from 1993.
Yeah.
I think he made that park famous as well. He trained an awful lot there.
Yes, he
As
did.
we've got a timeout on the play, the Etobicoke Rams want to share some notes before they come back on the field.
Now, just a quick word. The kicker for he does have the range. I've certainly seen I've certainly seen him make it from this distance before. But as I said, just the weather and the situation just adds that extra layer of difficulty.
And David Cruz is holding the ball. This is an attempt from the 37. And it goes off the crossbar. An unlucky moment for the Western Tech Colts, and what was a pretty good kick, but it just went off the crossbar.
As I said, those five.
This is
now,
an
again,
attempt from the
I've
30.
seen, he has much better range than that, but the conditions and how
And it
important
goes
that
off the
penalty
cross-
they just took right now. Not only did it probably stop them from getting a first down and continuing the drive, those extra couple of yards were the difference between that field goal going through the uprights or doing a doink, right?
That is unbelievable. He was successful on the first one and not on the second one with 1:14 left here in the first quarter of play.
When I played, I was a kicker as well, and there's no worse sound than the doink, right?
So Etobicoke Rams will take the ball over at the 20-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Rams.
Just like I'm sure you saw the doink with the Buffalo and Kansas City, even though Buffalo did hold on to win the game,
A
right?
famous moment that continues to reverberate throughout the NFL. Here's Etobicoke on a botched offensive sequence, and we see some action after the play as well.
Well, you know what? What's happening right now is it's as simple as this. Etobicoke isn't executing very well, but one of the reasons they're not is because that defensive line right now is dominating them. And if they cannot start making some inroads here, it's going to be a long game. But
And we've got another flag on the play as the Etobicoke Rams will move the sticks just a couple of yards.
not start
Dan,
making
just
some
looking at the
inroads
replay here right now.
It's going to be a
I just
long
have a
game,
feeling,
but, maybe, clearly it looks as though, the wind in this case is, it seems to be blowing from the south to the north here. I have a feeling that, Etobicoke is just waiting to change the quarter and, sort of before they're going to start putting the ball in the air. And you've seen also too clearly it's affected their punting game where they just haven't made much yardage on their kicks.
So it's not just not just handling the ball; it's a kicking game as well. Here's Quinn Shields for the Etobicoke Rams,
And like I said,
on the handoff, and they'll run it for a couple of yards up the gut. Dan, is that enough for a first down?
It is enough for a first down, but we've got a penalty here.
And flags out on the field. Looking at number one, Jay
Shields
Shepard
for the
on the
Etobicoke
play.
Rams.
Here's the replay.
And like I said, well, it's definitely against Western Tech. I'm not sure how many are. I'm not sure what the call is here, though.
Looked like a face masking call against Western Tech Colts.
Well, that'll be a big 15 yards marched off then. This is going to be the biggest play for Etobicoke so far in this game.
On a penalty.
Well, sometimes, that's all you need. Sometimes, you just need a break like that to get yourself going. And they've got a new set of downs.
So, new set of downs as the Etobicoke Rams will take the ball from their own 46-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Rams. Here's Quinn Shields on the play, and the Western Tech Colts are going to shut that one down behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, they just tried the slot pitch around, and, right now...
1st and 10 for the Rams.
They're not really threatening the pass at all. You can see, that time that was Kai Liliak.
And
that,
the Western
came
Tech
from the
Colts
slot
are going to...
position around, and they just weren't fooled at all. they're already playing close to the line. I think somewhere along the line they have to start taking some shots downfield, even if it is into the wind, even if it is a little slippery out there, just because both teams now are really daring the other team to throw the ball, and because they're playing so many people in the box and making it difficult to run.
Alex Dosen, the head coach and the offensive coordinator, and certainly taking that opportunity as the...
Well, almost on cue, right? We've got the change in quarter.
Yep.
So, and we have second and long, so we're going to get an opportunity to see if they decide to put this up in the air, which they've been sort of reluctant to this entire first quarter.
That first quarter brought to you by MLSE and the Toronto Argonauts, who have been huge supporters of Toronto high school football over the past 25, 30 years.
Yes, you can't say enough about, the support they've offered, and oh my heavens.
Now we've got another flag on the play, and Henry Chu, the official, very quick to throw that flag. A time count violation against the Etobicoke Rams this time.
One of the things that these teams have to take into account, and I can tell you from experience, it's a very real thing, is that, during the entire season, you end up with 3 officials, right, for your games. All of a sudden, you get to a championship game, and there's 6, and they don't miss much out there. And so all the things you used to get away with before, you don't get away with now. We've got a man wide open. Great
Quinn
job.
Shields with the pass and the
good
catch. Connor Contest. Wow, and Kostecki goes out of bounds on the play, but a beautiful catch.
Well,
Connor Kostecki.
And even more importantly was Connor was able to get the
You don't
enough
get away
yards
with
after
now.
the catch.
You
So
gotta-
if you watch it here, he catches the ball, and right here he's going to be tackled for short. But watch, he gets away from the defender there, 14, Jaheim Simpson, and picks up a first down. I mean,
Play, but a
probably
beautiful
the
catch.
first down for Etobicoke in the entire game, short of the penalties.
That's the first fluid offensive set that we've seen from the Rams
And of course,
here
we
in
saw
this half.
the first time with the win they threw the ball.
Quinn Shields again at the helm for the Etobicoke Rams, and ducking inside on the play was Jay Shepard, trying to get the extra yard. And he brings it back for about a yard gain on the play.
Yeah.
Second down situation.
Again, I don't want to sound as though I'm going to be a broken record video or whatever you want to call it now, but I think they have to attack the seams of this team. As I said, they load up on the outside. They on the short side of the field, they basically do a hang, or they do a cloud where the cornerback stays in the flat, and on the wide side they do an invert. But the seams are open. It's just, will they take advantage of it?
Quinn Shields fake on the handoff. They're going to go with the pass, and this one's caught. Again, they go to number 3, Connor Kostecki, and that's certainly a good chemistry, good combination.
Well, that time,
Quinn Shields.
he had Kalen Bunk, that knocked him out of bounds, and he certainly was bunked.
And they
wasn't
go
he there?
to
Boy, what a great
number
tackle
3,
that time
Connor
by Kalen.
I did the speaker, but I can jump in. I'm just trying to get through.
Third down situation. And the ball placed at the 42-yard line.
Well, this is an interesting call right here. You almost feel they have to go with it. Like when you have the wind, you have to take advantage of your possessions with the wind. And, on the other hand, you can look at it and say, well, if we punt the ball, we can maybe really, get them deep down in their zone. And if we have a good defensive stand, we're going to get, we're probably going to gain yards on the possession. But, Etobicoke probably is feeling we haven't really done anything offensively so far this game, and maybe this is the time we need to step up and start building some momentum.
We can see that momentum. We can certainly feel it.
So this is the play of the game up to this point, until the next play, right?
Third down situation. They run a wildcat. Here's the Etobicoke Rams. Jay Shepard on the play, looking to cut inside. Not enough for a first down.
No, he did a great job that time. Again, they really haven't done anything with their run game, and they've
run a
already tried.
wildcat.
They've tried
Here's
going up
the
the middle. They've tried
Rams.
going. They've tried going wide. They've tried. Even the misdirection and the slot sweeps and everything. And right now, Western Tech is not bending. That defensive line is winning the battle right now, and right now they just caused a big, huge, important turnover.
I'd like to highlight Toby Bednar, the 6'3", 275-pound D lineman on the play. for the Western Tech Colts.
Like I said, the only...
But it's 1st and 10 for the Colts.
The only thing you really want to see is that some of these players play both ways, right? You know, on the line. Will they be able to maintain this right through all 4 quarters, right? I mean, because quite often these games become games of attrition. Can your big guys play both offense and defense for 4 quarters of the game? And sometimes it's a different story when you get to the second half.
Well, they pitched on the play. This is number 1, James Gabriel, and he finally taken down out of bounds at just around the 40-yard line.
Well, Keith Agba just came flying in there, and while he didn't make the tackle, he certainly did slow things up. Right there, whoo, and
Gabriel, and he finally
while he didn't make the tackle, he slowed him up so that, you know, the secondary coverage was able to get to him. But a good job that time by Etobicoke. And now Western Tech has the same issues. Can they move the ball into the wind?
That's a big question, Dan. The ball is placed at the 41 right now. Second down situation for the Western Tech Colts. They're in V formation. Motion out of the backfield. Looking to throw the ball. Here's Elefounder, and he's going to take it himself and try and cut inside on the play.
Boy, he had, he had the wide receiver, number 8. I think it's Hayden Farrell, wide open there, and he just didn't recognize it. So here's out. See if he threw right now, he could, but he decided to put the ball under the arm and run. But he had him open, and that little hesitation cost them the first down, and now they have to punt into the wind.
Graham Tulloch on the tackle for the Etobicoke Rams. He's a middle linebacker. He's been solid throughout the season. And here's the kick for the Western Tech Colts. And this one's a torpedo as it goes to the 40. Here's the return. This is Myron Dawson on the play. He's going to go wide. And he's brought down on the play. Nice solo tackle.
You know, one of the things that Etobicoke has had during the year seemed to be a bit of, have a speed advantage over most teams, but they are not going to have a speed advantage over this Western Tech team.
A torpedo as it goes to the 40. Here's the return.
When you let the ball
this is Myron Dawson on the play.
End up hurting you, and you can see, they got an extra 10 or 15 yards out of that kick, and especially by their great coverage.
Cole Stevens in on the tackle for the Western Tech Colts. That was a nice solo tackle.
It was beautiful.
1st and 10 for the Rams. Ball on the 40. Rams quarterback Mihajlo Grahovic. They hand off. No, it's Quinn Shields that is handling things right now, and they'll cut in on the play. That's short of a first down.
Well, interesting, Etobicoke this time went to sort of their wing tee offense, right? Where they're compacted and they have the two wing backs on either side.
Is handling things.
They still went to the outside though, which is interesting given the fact that they lined up in their tight formation. But they got 8 yards on it, so that's something positive from right now to build off of.
So 2nd and 2 for the Etobicoke Rams.
So they've gone double tight end, 2 running backs under center.
Shields hands off. And again, this is Jay Shepard, and he's looking to cut inside on the play. They shut him down behind the line.
It's just scrimmage. The problem is that they seem to be hesitant to run any quick hitters, feeling that they're not getting
Shields hands off.
Getting too much penetration by the defensive lineman. But anytime they take a little bit of time to get to the hole, it's too late. And so you can see right now they're not even going to take a chance. I think they're going to punt the ball. They're going to say, hey, we've got the wind. Maybe we can get a good punt, put them back. But again, they're just afraid to go and attack the center of this Western Tech defense.
Jay Shepard, certainly a bright light in the lineup for the Rams, and he got up kind of slowly after that tackle. Looked like he had his bell rung. And here's the kick for the Etobicoke Rams. Nice spiral as this one's going to go out of bounds at about the 30-yard line.
And you can see the impact that the wind has had right there. So, right there he had a pretty nice net gain of almost 30 yards, whereas before they were getting net gains into the wind of all less than 10 yards. So, this is something, again, I think is going to be an important factor. And what really makes it important is, who's going to get the wind in the last quarter. So given that I think Western Tech had to kick off, they're probably going to get the choice of the wind or the ball in the second half, and I wouldn't be surprised if they take the win for the fourth quarter.
Who knew that the elements would play such an important factor here at Rob Ford Stadium?
Who knew, eh? Well, I guess only the last 40 years of watching games here, you know.
Here's the Western Tech Colts. They set up a shotgun. Elefounder looking to go long distance. This one's lofted up in the air. Almost picked off.
You can't fault, you know, number 25 Carter Day, but, you know, Adele Ozorowski was just standing there waiting. It was like a punt. He was there to catch it, and Day went in front of him. But, you know, when you see the ball in the air,
looking to go long distance. This one,
you can see, look, he's under there ready to catch it, and Day just comes through and knocks it down. But they'll rue that one, I'm sure, if they don't get the ball back here.
Carter Day will be looking at that 25 years from now and saying, I could have, I should have, I would have.
And you know what? You remember those plays. I don't care how old you are.
Oh, yeah. You'll never forget those. Here's 4 receivers coming off the line. They elect to go with the run, and this is being pressed up against a very determined Etobicoke Rams
I'm sure
front
not
four.
that much different from Kiner Falefa or Varsho trying to make a hit or all those things, right? I mean, you know, like...
The sting still hurts with the Toronto Blue Jays, but they're coming back ferociously for next year.
Right.
Congratulations to all the players and the entire lineup of the Toronto Blue Jays.
It was quite a ride, wasn't it?
It was a great ride for the entire country.
Yeah, yes, it was. Now they got to just sign Bichette, and I guess we'll all be happy.
Here's the punt team out on the field for the Western Tech Colts. Etobicoke's got 2 running backs. And we got a flag right off the bat. And there's another low kick. It'll bounce at the 40. And looking to give 5 yards off the ball. And a flag is thrown.
Well, I'm sure that was no yardage as well, but we'll have to see what happens after all this. But again, you can see you can see the
we got a flag right off the bat.
Even if there were no penalties here, barely a 10-yard net gain on the punt here. You're just not going to get a lot of yardage
and looking
into
to
the
get
wind
5
today.
yards off the ball. Dan, looking at the Western Tech Colts, they were the school founded in 1927. The principal is Mark Kochi. The enrollment at 1,430, so it's one of the larger schools in Toronto. They've got a school newspaper. It's called The Horseshoe. So it's great to see that there's lots of spirit in the school when it comes to the Colts football program and the sport program. And Western Tech's going to set up again for a punt, and we've got a delay again on the play. Well, they have the delay on the play. Certainly highlight the Etobicoke Rams, and their school was founded in 1928. Principal right now, Jennifer Kurtz. Their enrollment's 1,390, and they've had a lot of notable names go to the school, including Ken Dryden, Jeff Healy, Jeff Johnson, who was your nightmare when you were coaching, Dave Clarkson, the NHL hockey player, Marty McBean, and don't forget Donald Smythe, a 4-time national badminton champion.
So you just had to remind me about Jeff Johnson, didn't you? Thanks.
Yeah, it was certainly, it's going to be part of your autobiography that eventually you'll be writing.
No, it's my Kiner Falefa moment. So, you know.
I don't think that guy's ever going to let that one down. So the ball on the 30-yard line. The Etobicoke Rams come back out to set things up on this kick that is out there for the Western Tech Colts, and there's 2 running backs for Etobicoke.
Well, you know, Etobicoke has made an adjustment. They've moved their kick returners up a little bit, you know, with the hope, I guess, of catching this ball in the air, and that can make a huge. Oh no!
And this one bounced, and it's going back. Here's the return for Etobicoke. Myron Dawson on the play. He gets by a couple of defenders. Finally brought down by number 26. Jamar Shakes.
Now, again, a nice little return there, but if he catches that ball, number one, it may be no yards, plus he's probably going to have an extra 10 or 15 more yards. Now, we do have a flag down here. We'll see what the call is going to be. And it looks like it's going to be, I think the call is going to go against Etobicoke.
And referee Henry Chu making the call, and they're going to back this one up against the Etobicoke Rams.
Again, you know, you don't want to keep saying the same thing, but look at the difference in field position as if he caught that ball. Okay, we're talking about 30 yards in a game like today is so important. Like, he would have been down around the 30-yard line, and if he caught it, there was probably going to be a no yardage call because the defensive player was that close. Instead, you know, on the return, of course, they get a blocking from behind or a holding penalty, and now now they've lost those tough 30 yards. And the reason I say this is that yards have been hard to come by today, especially for Etobicoke.
It's been a real battle between the 30-yard line hash marks in this stadium. That's a high snap, and here goes the Etobicoke Rams on very much a delay, and that's Jay Shepard, who got by one defender. He practically hurdled him on the play.
I will say, they keep on trying to get to the, outside. I mean, and I understand they're not moving the ball. They feel as though they can't move the ball on the inside, but they haven't been moving the ball to the outside. I think they've got to actually throw the ball when they have the wind and take advantage of their good athletes. Cole
Stevens had the opportunity to take him down, and it's not the first time that we've mentioned Cole Stevens' name in this game.
Well, the reason why I say this is, again, in their first game, in the very first quarter, they scored a big touchdown by throwing a ball in the seam against their zone, right? And it's exactly the same thing here, and they could throw it if they wanted to.
It's interesting that Jay Shepard took the snap, and they ran this one back, and it was brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Western Tech Colts defense stepping up big time on the play.
Now, the only thing I have to say is that maybe they feel that the quarterback just isn't going to get enough time to throw the ball either, right? And so, then they have to start thinking about maybe moving the pocket, but throwing the balls to the flat, taking advantage of the fact that, you do have a quarterback that has a relatively strong arm, and, you've got good receivers. But right now, any attempts they're making at running are just getting stifled completely by this swarming Western Tech defense.
Kai Lilac in on the play for the Etobicoke Rams, one of two Lilacs in the lineup, the other being Finn. The Rams punt team out on the field. Two running backs for the Western Tech Colts. This one's a high spiral that'll go out of bounds at about the 50-yard line.
Right. But you can see, again, there's going to be some point when they're going to say to themselves, we're not making enough yardage on this that'll really on their kicking game, I should say, that'll influence the coach's decisions to go for it on third down, even especially depending on where they are on the field.
A beautiful balmy day here in Toronto at Rob Ford Stadium with the temperature at about 12 Celsius and rain throughout the day. But these teams endure. High school football endures all kinds of elements, and certainly today they're muscling it out here on the field.
Well, given the fact that they had a relatively low-scoring game their first time around in perfect conditions, it'll be interesting to see how strong the defenses will stay for the rest of this game.
We've got a flag on the play, a couple of flags on the play, and it looks like.
It's either going to be 55 moving too quickly or 33 for or Max Hafner crossing a line, but clearly it was 55 Cooper Savicki who's 6'6", 335 pounds that just jumped the gun there. But again, he's a player that plays both ways, and and as we're getting close to the end of the half, he's been on the field most of the time. You start making those mistakes as you get tired, right?
And we see a lot of players going both ways here today on both squads. Here's the Western Tech Colts. They're in shotgun. Motion coming out of the backfield. Four receivers coming out of the backfield. Alafounder's going to take it himself, and he's brought down behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
That's a loss for the Western Tech Colts.
And as I said before, he's not as comfortable throwing the ball when he moves the pocket, right? He had a receiver open, and he's just not as comfortable throwing the ball. See, he's already tucked the ball away, thinking he was going to, to run the ball, and, a great job that time by Etobicoke to run him down.
Alafounder at 5'10", 165 pounds, a grade 11 student at Western Tech. And the ball placed on the 52-yard line.
Again, I've seen him, in the games I've watched, I've seen him have his most success when he's in the pocket or steps up into the pocket and throws the ball.
Elefounder looking to his right, and the pass is caught. That was a nice catch by number 7 on the play. That was David Cruz, and he kept himself in bounds to make that catch.
And there we go. He stayed in the pocket, was able to put a pretty good throw on the ball into the wind. Again, that's not a bad throw. He got the ball to him close enough, and I'm sure they're going to go for it right here now, because it would be, what's the point of kicking the ball to get a 10-yard net gain?
David Cruz, the defensive back on the play, give him a little bit too much breathing room to make that catch. So it's a 3rd down and 2 situation for the Western Tech Colts. Receivers are wide. Here's Elefounder. On the snap, they hand off. This is Shakes.
Oh, great job.
And this is Jamar Shakes, who goes up the middle on the play, but the Etobicoke Rams shut that one down.
Okay. As soon as you see the running back, in this case it was Shakes, have to do a jump cut, and he's only taken a step, you know you're in trouble. Okay, a great job by Etobicoke. The 2 defensive tackles shutting down and allowing for the linebackers to make the tackle here. Really good job that time by Etobicoke. An important play too. It gives them, with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, it gives them decent field position, and it gives them the chance with the wind to go down and drive the ball. If they had have been able to get the first down there, they could have almost run out the time of this half. So that was a really important play for the Etobicoke defense.
Graham Tulloch, a rock for the Etobicoke Rams as a middle linebacker. Here's the pass. It's caught. This is Myron Dawson on the play. And the tackle made by Cole Stevens. That's a great matchup of 2 fierce warriors out there.
And again, I just cringe when I see that. They're throwing the ball short and wide, and their defensive backs are playing relatively tight. You can see he was right on them right away. I really think they've got to go over top sometime here to at least loosen off the defensive backs.
Etobicoke Rams looking to go to the air.
Okay, well that time he ran.
And went to man coverage on the play. It was intended for number 15, Kai Lilac.
Okay, now again, I understand they looked like they tried to run the seam there, but you can't do it on 2nd and long when they know you're going to throw the ball. And they didn't really attack both the seams and the outside at the same time. They allowed, the second safety, the second person in to just cover the slot receiver man to man, and that play was not going anywhere. So a great job that time by Western Tech.
Mahela Grahovic was the quarterback on the play, and they continue that rotation on the offensive sets for the Etobicoke Rams. Here's the kick, and this one's high.
Oh,
and the
catch.
return, this is a quick return for the Western Tech Colts. A quick reply by David Cruz, and he's been outstanding for the Western Tech Colts here in the first half.
Well, this is exactly what I mean about catching the ball in the air. You've got a head of steam behind you. They basically brought it back for a 15, 20-yard return, a net gain of less than 10 yards, again, for Etobicoke. So great job by the returner there that time.
Absolutely outstanding.
It just Western Tech now is doing all the little things right. That's the difference in the game. I mean, it's only 3-0, and as we said, it's going to be a battle of attrition, I'm pretty sure, as we go here. But Western Tech right now is just doing the little things a little bit better than Etobicoke.
Here's Western Tech Colts with the ball in the 52. 1st and 10 for the Colts. And it looks like they're going to call a little bit of a timeout. Dan, really like to highlight all the production team and the entire Toronto High School football board of directors, the committee that we've been intact for upwards of 20, 25 years in presentation of high school football. It's been absolutely outstanding. And to say hello to all the people on the YouTube production that are here today. They've done a great job in setup and coverage of this over the past several years.
Yeah, they've done a great job, but as for our committee, all it does is highlight that we're a bunch of old guys, right? So
some of us are. Some of us are still 32 years old.
That's true.
So.
Well, I think you're going to be 32 for the next 40 years, quite frankly.
So I keep telling all the nightclubs in Toronto and New York. Well, 2:01 left here in the half.
Well, you can only do that because it's still your hair there, right? So
That's right, and it will remain there. It's 1st and 10 for the Western Tech Colts. The Colts have had a pretty strong season themselves,
well,
with a 500 record, but the record is not indicative of just how good they've played.
this is a big drive. You know, we only have 2 minutes left, but you know, in Canadian football, 2 minutes can be an eternity, right? Especially with the clock stoppages and everything.
Alefounder looking to go to the air into man coverage. It's picked off. Jay Shepard picks off the ball. He was covering James Samuel on the play.
Doesn't
James
matter.
Gabriel.
They've got roughing the quarterback. What a huge play.
Oh, you've got to be kidding.
Yes. So again, I applaud Western Tech for trying the play, and it wasn't a bad it wasn't bad execution. You're going to see he gets rid of the ball relatively quickly. It's just that it's such a long throw, and then he just got clobbered. They deemed that he was hit after he made the pass. So a big play by Jay Shepard is erased there, and first down here for Western Tech. But like I said, I think it's a great job. But you saw the difficulty of throwing into the wind.
Absolutely. And by the way, that was a great snapshot of watching two of the premier players in Jay Shepard and James Gabriel.
And, last week Western Tech blew open the game against Northern by making a play like that, but he was able to get that extra yardage on the ball, and the defensive back, tried to get to the ball and couldn't. We're talking about the free safety because the ball was thrown, exactly the right yardage. That time, like I said, execution was good. Just like the wind and the rain, I should say, just held up the ball a little too much, and Jay was able to make the nice interception, even though it was all for naught.
1st and 10 for the Western Tech Colts. The ball's on the Etobicoke 43. Here's Alefounder escaping a defender. He's going to take it himself. He goes wide left. Cutting inside on the play, gets around a couple of more defenders, and he brings it down close to the 20-yard line. That's a good run and a first down for the Western Tech Colts.
And this is one of the real strengths of this offense is his ability to scramble. And again, what I've noticed is that he doesn't necessarily run outside. Whenever he steps up into the pocket, good things happen. He either steps up into the pocket and makes a pass, or he steps up into the pocket and he gets past the line of scrimmage and makes positive yards. So a great job that time by Alefounder. And right now they're knocking on the door, and this is a huge score if they can go up by more than one score going into the second half.
Hayden Farrell made the solo tackle on the play. Watching number 25, Carter Day, trying to line him up, but he got taken out by his own player. Here's Alefounder again, scrambling out of the pocket. He's got a lot of people coming at him, and he throws it out of bounds.
That time, clearly, he was just trying to get rid of the ball, but whoa, what do we got here?
And we've got a couple of flags on the play.
But as I said, when he has to scramble, he is less effective. Oh, they called him for grounding. They called him for, I guess he didn't get outside of the tackle area, and he wasn't throwing to anybody.
Yeah, there was no receiver within the vicinity.
I'm not even sure he got it to the line of scrimmage. That might be the other reason.
So they're going to back that one up. I was looking at Max Hafner, the defensive end on the play, who put a lot of heat on Alefounder.
So you understand here when they do that, he can throw the ball out of bounds, but he's got to at least get his pass past the line of scrimmage, and he has to be outside of the lineman box there when he does scramble. So that was a huge play right that time there to take them back.
2nd and long for the Western Tech Colts.
Probably outside of field goal range as well, given that they're kicking into the wind.
4 receivers coming off the line. They're going to hand off to Jamar Shakes. He's going to take it up the middle. Gets by a couple of defenders.
That's going to be
and another flag on the play.
Well, first of all, the first penalty is going to be offside, by the Western Tech. The receivers had already crossed the line before the ball was snapped. I don't know what the second penalty is.
So the officials are going to discuss this one. And Wow, Dan, I'll tell you, a lot of flags here in the past couple of minutes.
Well, like I said, again, 6 officials. It's nothing. It's the officials are just doing their job. Don't get me wrong, right? But the players are just not used to having, these calls made against them, because now you'd have double the number of officials. You have, an extra 6 eyes watching the play, and so all the little things you might have been able to get away with before, certainly you're not getting away with. Especially the fact that you have an official on either sideline. During a regular season game, you have an official on one sideline, and of course he sees everything when he's on that sideline, but seeing the things on the other sideline are a lot more difficult, right? And that's typically, one of the issues that you have to deal with.
You got to map these things out, Dan, and certainly you've gone through those years of mapping things out. You're retired now, but we saw you on the sidelines last week with the Northern Red Knights.
Yeah, and again, Northern was, they had lost their center right off the bat. They had lost their running backs, and quite frankly, they were just, they were overmatched along the lines, sort of the way Western Tech is doing it today to Etobicoke, right? But again, it was raining all day, but then it cleared, and so it was relatively dry conditions during the game, and Alifander made some really fantastic passes, along with their dominance along the lines that sealed the win for them.
Well, he's only going to develop as a grade 11 student, and here's the Western Tech Colts with another kick, and a left-handed kick.
And again, look,
and this one's going to bounce.
Bouncing.
This gets by Myron Dawson, and Dawson's looking to get around a couple of defenders. He goes wide. He's got a lot of green. He's looking to go to the sidelines. And he's pulled out of bounds at the 42. That's a good run for Myron Dawson.
Okay, we have another flag down. I'm not sure.
Oh, my gosh.
Again, it's typically, sort of it's either going to be, that's exactly what it's blocking from behind or whatever. So it's unfortunately, it's going to take them back. And so that great return is going to be nullified. But again, I keep on saying the same thing. Catch the ball in the air, okay? Force the other team, to have to deal with you as you're moving forward. Don't let the ball bounce around. You saw what happened. He fumbled the ball, and he sort of got lucky. He was able to pick it up and use the athletic ability to get to the outside. But boy, they would have had so much better yardage, so much better field position. Of course, now with the penalty, it makes it even worse. They probably will just kneel out here to get out of this half right now, just down 3-0.
Well, they're bringing the ball back to the Etobicoke 9. That's a huge loss. And there's 44 seconds left on the clock here in the first half of play.
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing that happens when you take off and go wide. It just invites, your own cover, your own team to sort of try to make some spectacular blocks. Hold on to the ball. Just hold on to the ball here. That's really what he should be told to do.
And ball run up the gut. That's number 1 on the play, Jay Shepard. And wow, he's been an integral part of the lineup for the Rams in this half.
Now, they should be just waiting. I'm not sure why they should be letting this clock run out, and he is. So,
Rahovic, a handoff again. They'll run this one up the gut again to Jay Shepard. So that's what they're going to do, just run out the clock to end with 20 seconds.
Well, at least he got a first down here,
left.
so now there won't be any issues with them being able to run the clock out here. But a great job by Western Tech, blunting the Etobicoke offense when they had the ball, right? I mean, I really think Western Tech's going to rue the fact that, they took a couple of penalties down here and didn't take advantage of the fact that they'll at least get a field goal in there, because I think, points are going to be so hard to come by today. But they got to feel, pretty good about the way they've played so far.
That's Jay Shepard again bringing the ball out, so the run game will play this one out for the half with 9 seconds left on the clock. Here's Grahovic. And that's a high snap there. Fake on the handoff. They're going to go with the pass.
Oh, my heavens.
And the pass to Myron, intended for Myron Dawson, but it could have been all over right there.
Oh, my God. Almost the worst thing you could possibly do there, right? I mean, to hang one up, that was 6 points the other way. That might have. Like, anyways, we'll,
Just looking at Cole Stevens, and he
Oh,
had the
heavens.
opportunity to pick it off and take that one into the end zone. And we're going to
look. The coach right
Go
now
to
is
the
going.
half.
The coach is going. Is going. Oh my! He's talking to the quarterback right now, going
3-0 as the Western Tech Colts lead the Etobicoke Rams here in this TSSAA championship game. 3-0 as we take things to the half.
Well, that's certainly a lesson learned that time by the quarterback that hopefully he's going to learn from. So,
But if you could straighten the camera through, that'd be great. And your camera.
oh my, are we?
TSA lines and all that. I mean, yeah.
We flew out a couple weeks ago. We're still working said it wasn't bad.
That's what I don't know.
I think it's news that we thought kind of trying to skew it. Like,
I know, because has it gotten worse? Like, yeah, we didn't have any trouble.
It'd be nice to get away. The weather.
Although, did you see there's a huge cold front? No, tomorrow I think Miami was going to be in the 40s. Like, Fahrenheit. Yeah. Yeah, you do.
That'll just be for a moment. Get back to the 70s and 80s.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
There's always a Hillary close by, so there we go.
Is it really?
No, my parents' favorite is Bells.
Beals. No, Beals.
They call it Bells. I don't know why, because it looks like Beals to me.
And if they explained it to me, the difference, you know, but I don't know.
Of what? Between Beals and Bells. Oh, well, my
Toy
friend-
found
they've
the
always called them Bells.
Beals outlet, and he was like, Tim, I can get t-shirts for $2.
I was going to say,
I
when
said,
I
that's
was really
very
satisfied,
bad.
he goes, look at this, $2. I'm like,
That's outstanding. Kate has a client down there. You know, the grocery store Publix. Kate couldn't correct her. She was calling it Publix. And Kate just loved giggling at herself every time she said it. Like, how do you get Publix out of that?
Talk to the kids, I call that orange
The other one, the girls are recommending the orange chocolate.
So Kate's saying it's 15 people, so it must only be share. So they said because it's 15, that's their like 14th or max. But Kate actually quite liked the idea. She said it's a private room, especially, you know, you're hard of hearing, Sharon's hard of hearing. It might be nice, just all of us in a room. She said, yeah, there's a minimum happening she said I have many questions.
Okay.
Like it's
I grew up in northern Colorado, so I at least know where Etobicoke Collegiate is. West Ferry. Now I know West Ton, but where is West Ferry? North of High Park. So is it in Metro or is it so does that kind of the of where, once again, old school forgive me. This is still, when I was told I was going to Rob Ford's, they like, you're where? What? And like,
okay, so
I used to live right here. This was set, it hasn't changed at all. It would be in old downtown Toronto, whatever they call it. Okay. So, alright, at least I now know where it is. And the cheerleaders, which I'm very impressed with, are coming from Western. Is the marching band also from Western? They're from Mel, so completely different.
And welcome back to Rob Ford Stadium as we get set for the second half of action with the Western Tech Colts and the Etobicoke Rams in this TSSAA Senior Tier 1 Championship. And joining us in the broadcast is Matt Black, legendary star from the Toronto Argonauts. If we remember that outstanding interception during a Grey Cup a few years ago, and we're lucky enough to have him in the broadcast here today. And Matt, welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me, Dana. Appreciate it.
And Dan Domenico, your former head coach,
Yes.
High school at Northern Red Knights, and we've got the three-man crew for the next few minutes here.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the game so far?
So far, it's been a defensive battle. Looks like Western Tech's been getting a little more successful on offense, but I'd like to see ECI break it open here and get an exciting game going. It's a close one, right? One play away for either team, but weather's definitely playing a factor, I think.
This broadcast brought to you by MLSE and Toronto Argonauts, and we're so thankful to have the Argonauts on board in support of Toronto high school football.
Yeah, it's great to be here in support as well.
Dan, we're landing things up as we get the kickoff for the second half. This will go to the 35-yard line, and the Western Tech Colts will quickly bounce on the ball. Your thoughts on this lead into the second half?
Well, right now, I think it's an interesting decision here by Western Tech to take the ball as opposed to take the wind in the fourth quarter. So I guess maybe their feeling is we're going to get the wind, we're going to get the ball. If we can get out in front by maybe 2 scores, that might be too much for the Rams to overcome, especially once they get the win in the fourth quarter, considering how well their defense has played. But if they're going to take the ball here, they really, really need to score sometime in this quarter right now and take advantage of field position.
1st and 10 for the Western Tech Colts. Elefounder has been pretty solid in the first half. And they pitch. This is going to go to James Gabriel.
We got a flag, though.
Gabriel goes out of bounds, and we've seen a lot of flags in this game.
Well, again, it's the same pattern we've seen. When they go outside, they run outside with Gabriel, and that time was a pitch. But I have a feeling, did we get a holding call here on this play?
We're about to find out from Henry Chu.
Yes, it looks like it is holding.
It is a holding call.
And this is a killer right now for Western Tech because, as I said, it's they don't have to do it on this drive, but they have to take advantage of their field position and the wind to get a score. Because I'm not sure when you go into the fourth quarter, 3 points is going to be enough to stop the Rams from making some type of score with the wind. And given the fact that, as I said before, I think there's going to be a bit of attrition take place on the part of the linemen for Western Tech because so many of them are playing both ways.
So it's 1st and long for the Western Tech Colts. And Matt, you've seen these situations many times in the past as a former player with the Toronto Argonauts. We see the handoff and going off tackle on the play. That's James Gabriel. What's your thoughts on this game so far?
So far, I think ECI's got to make a play. They're one play away, down 3 here, going into the third quarter. It's time for them to make a play. I think they need a spark. I think Western Tech is playing with a little more enthusiasm. These guys seem to be flying up to the ball. The running backs are running hard. They're playing well on defense. So it's a good game so far. But if ECI is going to stay in this game here, I think Western Tech's going to wear them down if they don't get a play here soon.
Here's Elefounder in shotgun. He's got 4 receivers coming off the line. The pass is caught.
Oh, no, go
this
forward.
This is number 7, David Cruz. He's been huge in the first half. And that's close to a first down.
Well, this has been their most successful play, is that when he stays in the pocket and he just throws a quick strike to the wide receiver who is just running a stop pattern down the sideline. They've completed this a couple of times. Now, I think if he had gone forward there, he might have got closer to the first down, but I'm pretty sure they're going to go for it on 3rd down here. Oh, they're not. What a surprise. I am really surprised here.
A lot of the fans here in the stadium are surprised.
Now, I guess they want to take advantage of the win on the kick, but I'm really surprised.
High snap. Here's the kick by the Western Tech Colts. And this one again is a submarine, and it goes to about midfield before going out of bounds. It gives Etobicoke excellent field position.
But see, this is what I talked about in the first half. You're only getting, on the kicking game right now, they're only getting a net of even 10 yards in this case. Why not go for it, for heaven's sakes? They've done a really good job running the ball with, the inside and outside threat between Gabriel and Shake. So I question that decision that time by the Western Tech Colts.
Matt, your insight?
Yeah, you know what? I think the kicking game is struggled all day. I think, the wet ball and the cold weather, I think it's making it tough on these kickers. But I have to agree with Dan. I would have probably gone for it on third down there. They've had some good inside running games, and their outside running game has been pretty successful as well. So it's an opportunity, though, for ECI here to make a play and drive down the field, see if they can tie it up or even take the lead. Going into the third here.
That's a high snap and a fake on a handoff, and they're going to run with the ball. This is Quinn Shields, and he gets it out to about the Western 50, but not a first down.
Still good, still a pretty good gain on first down here.
Yeah, first half, ECI really struggled on first down. Got behind the sticks a lot, so it's good to see them, step up here and 2nd and 1 can convert this and get a first down here.
Well, you've seen a lot of great moments. What was the highlight moment for you when you played with the Northern Red Knights?
Oh, holy smokes, man. We had a lot of great games. I remember a game similar to this weather. We played up at York University. We came back and won that game and went to the Metro Bowl after that. But it was, definitely a lot of great memories from playing high school football here in the city. And it's great to see these young men carrying on that tradition.
We just saw more action. Richard Tyrell got knocked over on the play. And that was a good run by Jay Shepard as he went to the sidelines. And but certainly you've seen a lot of action both as a Northern Red Knights player. You played NCAA football with Grand Valley and several years with the CFL. And I guess the standard is if you make it for 10 years in the CFL, you've put out a great career.
Yeah, you know what? I've been so fortunate in my football journey. It was really awesome, as you mentioned. Started at Northern, spent 4 years at Saginaw Valley, and then my 10-year career with the Toronto Argonauts. So I'm truly blessed, and I've enjoyed every moment. Oh, it looked like we got a turnover here, but there's some flags on the field, so we'll have to see what those are. But I've had a great 10-year career, really enjoyed it, and it's opened a lot of doors for me. So grateful to the game for sure.
Kalen Bonk in on the interception, Dan.
Well, again, he tried to throw a deeper pass into the wind. It's just going to be tough. We've seen both quarterbacks struggle when they've been going into the wind and trying to get a little bit of air under the ball. It's just not happening. And of course, the penalty is going to be declined there. It was against Etobicoke, so we have a turnover. At not really an opportune time for Etobicoke, but
the sticks are going to move. They'll back up the ball to the 21-yard line.
Penalties have been hard on ECI this game, so we got to clean that up.
Matt, what's the goal of MLSE and the Toronto Argonauts as in the offseason, aside from regrouping from a pretty tough season?
Yeah, you know what? I think every year, the goal is to get better. We wish Ryan well. He had a phenomenal run here in Toronto, and the team will look a little bit different with a new head coach. So Michael and staff will definitely take some time to evaluate the roster, obviously, and I think priority number one will be getting a new head coach, to help lead the team. But every year you're looking to improve the roster and show up next year, regardless if you're win or you lose. You have to come back the following year and field a very successful team. That's the goal. So looking forward to it.
Dana. Ryan Dunwoody, that was a big surprise with him announcing to going to Ottawa. Dan, I'll throw the ball over to you on that one.
Well, you know what? I mean, just standing here listening to Matt talk, he sounds like a coach. Maybe there's some coaching in his future here. We've got a new head coach coming in. You never know. Maybe this would be a really good
a really breaking news story.
Not to rain on the parade, but no head coaching in my future just yet. Maybe a little bit later down the line.
Right.
But,
okay, there's still a position coach sitting there, for you waiting.
Yeah,
and
opportunities are sitting right in front of you.
Yeah, my little one she's 13 now, going into high school, and spending a lot of time with her and watching her play volleyball, and it's been really awesome. Wow, big play by ECI there, but looks like there's another flag on the play, so we'll have to see how this one shapes up.
And again, I've said this several times now, Dana. They had right now they had Emily Irwin, the wide receiver, was wide open, number 9. But the problem is when the quarterback Alfounder has to go onto the run, he just isn't that accurate. And that time he threw into coverage, and if the penalties against Western Tech, this is going to hold up as a. But it's not. It's going to be interference against Etobicoke, another crushing penalty.
That's
Well,
a tough penalty
major
there.
thanks for you joining us here on the broadcast. It's only fitting to have you in the broadcast and being an ambassador for the MLSE and the Toronto Argonauts. And we're huge fans. Always have been. Ever since we saw you play with the Northern Red Knights, we can't say enough about Matt Black, that's for sure.
Thanks, I appreciate the kind words, and it's really amazing to for me in my journey playing high school football here, playing for the Argos, and now being able to support the next generation of athletes that are playing. We're really grateful to be a part of this, and for your guys' stewardship in putting this together for these young men, because it's an important aspect of their lives. They'll learn a lot of great lessons and open a lot of doors for them as they kind of navigate to the next stages of their career.
That's what they're so interested in, is the opportunities that football brings to them. Well, major thanks. We really appreciate you joining us on the broadcast.
No problem. Thank you.
Well, thanks,
Appreciate it,
Matt.
gentlemen.
6:32 left here in the third quarter of play, Dan, and certainly it's been a tough battle between these two squads. The lines of both teams have been really battling it out in the trenches.
Well, it has been, and that's why I really appreciate, like, for example, Matt being able to come in here and give us his perspective, because he's covered the entire spectrum, like you said, from high school, as a young kid playing, in grade 9, all range when he has the win. But just getting back to Matt, just the fact that he's been able to play at every level and he's seen it all, and he really understands, what it takes to win at every level, and the amount of effort it takes in execution.
And that's what it does. It takes a lot of effort to make that happen. That intended receiver was Gabe Kosmachak, and that pass just showcased the arm of Elefounder.
Right. But as I said, if he gets in trouble when he's on the move, I think he needs to stay in the pocket and just throw the darts he has been doing.
Another kick, another bullet, and this one goes to the 50-yard line. Here's the return for the Etobicoke Rams, but Western Tech Colts all over it like white on rice.
Well, just a wonderful job by Jamal Samuels there that time that, was able to get down on coverage. He's a wide receiver, and he did a great job tackling the player there right off the bat for no gain.
The ball be placed at the 53-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. And the Etobicoke Rams want to talk this one over. 5:39 left here in the third quarter of play. Dana McKeel, Dan Etobicoke, Matt Black, bringing it all to you here on YouTube as we broadcast around the world.
Tell you though, Etobicoke's doing what they have to. They're at least keeping a stalemate going into the the last quarter and the win. So, if they can keep them off the board, they can make another drive or two here and eat up most of this clock. They'll have accomplished what they have to, and ever so slowly, you can just see now that the Etobicoke defense is starting to take over, right? They're starting to make a few plays on offense. The tide is slowly turning. So this last 5 minutes could be really pivotal in terms of what happened. And the way they're playing their defense on the short side of the field leaves the flat wide open. So, that was a really good job of executing, and even into the wind, he made a strong throw. They picked up a first down.
Kai Lilac in on the reception. And that was number 50, Landon King on the tackle. That was a good tackle. Shotgun, they hand off up the middle. This is Jay Shepard trying to pretzel his way through the defensive line.
Still tough slogging right now, trying to run, in between the two defensive tackles for Western Tech. I mean, they have dominated the game so far. Again, we'll see what happens when, as we start getting into the fourth quarter and everybody starts getting a little more tense and tired.
High school football in action here, Dan, at Rob Ford Stadium in Toronto, Canada. 3:37 left here in the third quarter of play.
See, here's the other thing. Neither team, has really played a nail biter like this so far, where it's almost got, where there's been no scoring going right down to the wire. I mean, Western Tech had a close game that they lost against Northern right in the in the last minute, but otherwise, this is something new for these teams.
Win Shields. And he threw the ball, but it was deflected. It was an attacker on the play.
Yeah, you can see, I think it was, it looked like it was Will Kaufman there, got his arm on, I'll have to take a closer look, got his arm, yes, Will Kaufman got his arm on the quarterback's arm just as he threw it, and the ball got deflected into the air and almost was picked off that time by the Western Tech defender.
That's a great replay as we take a look at that.
Yeah,
wow.
Look at that.
Outstanding replay.
Yeah, just got enough of it and then, caused the ball to flutter and, so close that time.
Could have been an over-the-shoulder catch for that middle linebacker. Here's the kick. This one's going to hang high up in the... So just looking where the officials are going to place the ball. And it appears to be the 29-yard line of the Western Tech Colts. It's been certainly a battle between these... A very short field, Dan. It's been all midfield.
Well, I'll tell you, I give a lot of credit to Etobicoke right now. Is that they seem to be winning. They seem to be winning the battle of field position, and they've been going against the wind. So I can't tell you how important this drive might be for Western Tech.
And a run up the middle. This is going to be a long run. This is James Gabriel. He sees touchdown. He's being chased down on the play. And he goes into the end zone. Touchdown, Western Tech Colts. James Gabriel comes up with a huge run.
Almost right on cue, and Gabriel, who has really been, one of the stars of the game, especially, just took it off tackle there, and broke an initial tackle, and they never caught him after that. Right there, you can see he had just got past that first guy, and it was just a foot race that he wasn't going to lose the rest of the way.
That was an 81-yard run going into the end zone, and guess who was right behind him? Jay Shepard.
Yeah, but I'll tell you right now, this makes it a two-score game. This is going to put a huge amount of pressure on Etobicoke in the fourth quarter.
An 81-yard run for James Gabriel. Outstanding performance. He checked the rearview mirrors and said, "Ain't no thing like a chicken wing."
Gee, honestly, it's a backbreaker for Etobicoke because they had played so well, and they essentially had one more drive to stop them to get into the fourth quarter, and they had done such a good job bottling up their running backs, for almost the entire three quarters of the game, but that just shows you what happens when you have a playmaker. He just needed a little bit of an opening, and that time Gabriel took advantage of it, and all of a sudden it's a 9-point lead. I should say a 10-point lead.
Look at the here. So 2:47 left here in the third quarter of play, and that was a huge play for the Western Tech Colts on that 81-yard run.
Well,
they'll set up for the kickoff.
This has happened to me before too. You're on the sideline. You have to find some way to tell yourself, hey, there's still lots of time left. We've got the wind on our side. We just need to make a play. As you heard Matt say, he was absolutely correct. We need somebody, Etobicoke, I should say, needs somebody to make a play for them right now. It just happened for Western Tech. They had that somebody make their play. An 81 touchdown run, yard run by Gabriel. Somewhere along the line now, if Etobicoke is going to come back, they need a play to be made by one of their playmakers.
And a fumble on the... No, they're still holding on to it. It appeared to be a fumble, but the running back was able to hold on to it and shove back to the 20-yard line on the play. That was number 3 for Etobicoke, Connor Kostecki.
Yeah, number, that's Myron.
Correction, number 2, Myron Dawson.
Yeah, Myron Dawson was on the return there, and he took, unfortunately, when he got the ball, he seemed to slow down just as he was going into the tackle, and like you said, you almost fumbled there, but they need to be a little more aggressive on some of their returns. I keep on saying that they need to be able to catch the ball in the air. They need to get some big plays on special teams because, like I said, they're down 2 scores.
Second down. Correction, first down for the Etobicoke Rams, and the ball placed at the 24-yard line. Etobicoke's got quite a battle ahead of them. And brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Western Tech Colts are playing with a B-12 shot here in the third quarter.
And again, they're defense. Oh, and look at this. We have, okay, just a little bit, okay, of lack of discipline that time, okay, by Jay Shepard. He's going to get flagged for taking off his helmet. And in that case, though, I was just saying, though, it was a fantastic job that time by the defensive line again from Western Tech. Stepped up one more time and caught him behind the line of scrimmage. And that was Josh Hamilton, 21, that made that play. And again, put the penalty on top. Now all of a sudden, instead of them, trying to at least run out the rest of this clock, they've got an almost impossible second down to make. They're going to give, and where the field position is now, they're going to be giving Western Tech the ball deep in their end with, the win for another minute and a half.
Here's Quinn Shields going to air this one out as well. This was into double coverage.
Oh,
and
my heavens.
Catch, beautiful catch over the shoulder. That's number 15, Kai Lilac. Wow, what a catch.
That's clearly the play of the game for Etobicoke right now. I can't overstate how important that is, because if they had to punt the ball there, they would have given Western Tech the chance to maybe close out the game there. But what a huge first down.
That was a 27-yard pass to Kai Lilac. That's a first down for the Etobicoke Rams. 1:21 left here in the third quarter of play.
And an over-the-shoulder catch on top of it.
Quinn Shields again hitting the target. And another catch for the Etobicoke Rams. This one's another first down. And again, they're going to Kai Lilac.
I don't quite understand why they didn't start throwing the ball like this earlier, right? Because clearly they haven't been able to run this entire game, and most of their gains have been because of their passing. And again, they run the ball, but
tackle on the play by Wilson Harrington. For the Western Tech Colts, it'll be a second down situation for the Etobicoke Rams. But Dan, we're seeing some pretty good catches made by Kai Lilac to bring the Etobicoke Rams back into some action here. Quinn Shields again with time to hit the target, and it was two.
The official got in the way of the player. That was unfortunate.
That was Kai Lilac who ran into the official and helped him up.
I'm not sure if we're going to see a replay. I'm not sure he was going to be able to catch the ball anyways. It looked like it might have been a little bit high, but he was certainly open there, and great coverage that time by the umpire.
I think we should have a replay on that one.
You know what? I think he timed it perfectly. I don't think it was pass interference. So.
That was unbelievable, taking out the official on the play. 28 seconds left here in the third quarter of play.
But it's a good thing to say, though, that nobody was hurt in the exchange there. That's the most important thing.
Very good point. Very good point. We were talking Warriors out there on the field.
Yeah.
Third down situation for the Etobicoke Rams. Punt team out on the field. Western Tech with two running backs. And this one's strategic on the kick as it bounces out of bounds at the 31-yard line.
The only thing I question right here is that they really raced to get the ball back into play on their second down there. I don't quite understand why they wouldn't take the full amount of time so that hopefully the quarter might have ended so that on third down they would have been able to punt with the wind here. I think that was a bit of a strategic mistake as well.
So 13.8 seconds left here in the third quarter. It's been pretty exciting, and we always know that the first 5 minutes of the second half will dictate any outcome of, most oftentimes, of any game.
Well,
and we're seeing that here.
Give Western Tech credit. So their decision, their strategic decision to take the ball and the wind and to try to put up a score that would make it really difficult for them to come back in the fourth quarter could, work out to be prophetic in that, they chose the right option, as opposed to kicking off to Etobicoke, because they had the choice. They could have taken the win in the fourth quarter, but they chose to receive the ball and clearly get the win in the third quarter.
So 1st and 10 for the Western Tech Colts.
This will be the last play they have with the wind as well.
Here's Alifounder, and they hand off. Go with Jamar Shakes, and he'll just go off tackle on the play. He's tackled, and that'll end the third quarter of play as this TDSSAA Senior Tier 1 Championship game is being led right now by the Western Tech Colts, 10-0 over the Etobicoke Rams. And this game brought to you by MLSE and the Toronto Argonauts here in Toronto, Canada.
Yeah, it's become a really interesting battle, and as we were as Matt was saying before, all we need is one play by Etobicoke, similar to like that big play we had on second down on 20. You know, if they can get the ball here, because if they can make another stop, get the force them to kick the ball into the wind, have decent field position, and get a drive. There's lots of time left in this game. Even though it's 2 scores, there's lots of time left. And remember, we're talking about, Etobicoke was the slightly favored team here. They clearly have the playmakers and the athletes to be able to do what they need to do here in the fourth quarter. But, give credit to Western Tech. Their defense has been hard to budge so far.
Here's the Western Tech Colts, and they've got 5 receivers coming off the line. Here's Alifounder being chased out of the pocket, and he's going to the wide receiver. What a catch! He made the catch. That's number 7, David Cruz. He's been outstanding here in this game.
I would love to have the replay on that one. That was what a great catch. Let's see if he holds on to it here as it might have. Let's see what happens here. I don't know. That would be a tough one in the NFL. I'm not sure that would have counted as a catch.
That was outstanding replay right there.
That was fantastic. I mean, it couldn't have been any better. It even looked like the official there took a second to think about it, right? But you can't fault the effort, anyways. Yes.
We're here in the fourth. Here's the Western Tech Colts. They're going to run this one. This is James Gabriel. He's the hero so far with an 81-yard run.
Well, hey, and Western Tech came back with their own big play to sort of switch the field positions, right? It's just fantastic.
Taken down
but
at
now,
the 25-yard line, Dan.
But now this is starting to get really serious for Etobicoke. I mean, we're right on the edge of field goal position right now going into the wind, and they certainly can't allow another major score because I think that will be too much for them to overcome.
Western in the eye, they hand off. This is Gabriel again. He goes off tackle, and wow, was he hit by a wall of defense.
Yeah, if you keep it within 2 scores, within 2 touchdowns, I think there's time and they can do it. But I do not think they can allow them to score here. It's going to be 3rd down. It'll be interesting the decision. Are they going to kick the field goal or are they going to go for it?
Just looking at number 8, Hayden Farrell, who made the tackle or assisted on the tackle. There's a swarm of defense there for the Etobicoke Rams.
Yeah.
3rd down situation for Western Tech Colts. They're setting up for a field goal attempt.
Yeah. Well, points are valuable in this game.
Cruz on the hold. This one
again, another doink
off the
Can you believe
crossbar.
that?
That's the 2nd time in this game that we've seen that.
Oh my God, the second doink. How have you ever seen that before?
Long time since we've seen something like that.
Yes, I mean,
there
oh
we
my
are
God,
again,
you got to feel sorry for the quarterback. I mean, the kicker there. I mean, he's made 2 good kicks, and but a little gust of breeze, just another foot, oh my heavens!
Wow, that absolutely amazing. Certainly on the storyline when it comes to this TDSSAA Senior Tier 1 Championship.
Well, and that just again, that's an important play because now it means that they don't need to score 2 touchdowns. They just need to get a touchdown and at least a field goal to tie, as opposed to having to go get 2 touchdowns to at least get them in, which they would have needed if that points had gone down and made it 13-0.
Wow. So the ball's placed on the 20-yard line, and got some substitution coming in place for the Will Kaufman coming back into the game for the Western Tech Colts.
Now, this all sounds academic, right? You know, get the ball, go down and score. But they haven't been able to do this for the entire game with or without the win. So somewhere along the line here, somebody has to step up for Etobicoke, and they need to make a play or two.
Most of the game has been played between the 30-yard lines.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. It's been actually pretty good for us. We've had the play right in front of us the whole time.
Good vantage point. Here's the Etobicoke Rams, Quinn Shields on the handoff, and they're going to go with Jay Shepard on the carry. He gets around a couple of defenders,
almost.
And he's brought down at the 35-yard line. That's a first down for the Etobicoke Rams.
You know what? That was almost exactly the same play as James Gabriel had the big run for Western Tech. He almost broke that tackle at the line of scrimmage on an off tackle and almost went the distance.
Now, Wilson Harrington came up with the tackle on the play for the Western Tech Colts.
Over the middle, wide open, nice
This
little.
is Kai Lilac, and he brings it out to the 45-yard line of the Western Tech Colts. The Etobicoke Rams are on the move.
Well, and that's an area they had to exploit. Okay, in this particular defense, they're playing. They're playing their. They're playing their cover three. The inside, the center of the field is usually wide open.
Handoff. They're going to go up the middle on this one for a gain of about 4 or 5 on the carry.
Yeah, you understand. They have to keep them honest. They just can't throw the ball every single time. But really, they've been making most of the yardage through the air.
Wilson Harrington in on the tackle again. He's been solid defensively for the Colts.
And clearly, you think this is 3-down territory now. They can't be punting the ball anymore.
Quinn Shields in shotgun. Ball on the Western 42. Here's Shields looking to go to the air. This is in a man coverage. Within the fingertips of the intended receiver on the play.
Yeah, nice coverage that time by, it looks like, I think it's Gabe Kosmajic.
And Myron Dawson was the intended receiver on the play. And the old cliche, Dan, if you can touch it, you can catch it.
Yeah, the only problem with this pass, though, is that if you're going to throw this pass, it has to be thrown higher and to the outside. You can't miss that pass on the inside, which gave the defensive back a chance to make a play on the ball. If he puts it out to the outside, the running back has a chance to run under it. But again, talking about the conditions, it's easy for me to sit here and say, oh yeah, pinpoint that pass, but it's tough for anybody.
Well, we're in the fourth quarter, 8-12 and counting, and certainly coming down to the award ceremonies that follow this championship game. And you remember some of the great moments in City High School football championships. I'm sure you can recollect a few.
Well, I can too many. Some of them are good. Some of them are good. Some of them are bad, right? But they're all things you remember, though, right? Of course, that's the exciting thing about it. But
oh yeah.
But see, again, this is the type of the thing I'm talking about right now. This is a moment for Etobicoke. There's 8-12 left in this game. They really need to come up with some points on this. If they get some points on this drive, all of a sudden it changes the entire mindset of everybody, right?
Ball on the 42.
And they've clearly they've decided that they have to go for it here. They don't just want to kick and try to get field position.
Here's the Etobicoke Rams. Fake on the handoff. Quinn Shields looking to go to the air. He's got lots of time. And this one was thrown away. And we look at the Western Tech defender who had some influence on that throw.
The problem is when you see when the quarterback went back, I think he had a progression, but he clearly was looking for one player and waiting for him to get open. And by the time he got open, that's when finally the pressure was. I think he had enough time to throw the ball, and it looks like he had another person open underneath, but I think he eyeballed the receiver that was running a pattern into the corner, and it just took too long to, wait for that player to get open, and consequently he got hit and the ball sort of fluttered away. So another big stand by Western Tech.
Western Tech standing up big time here with 7:50 and counting. Time is of the essence right now if you're the Etobicoke Rams.
You're 100% correct, and I think this is where we're starting to get into the territory where you need a turnover. We're into turnover territory pretty soon here.
Yeah, running out of bounds on the play. This is number 5. Nate Alifounder, the quarterback, and he's been certainly a candidate for the MVP of the game.
100%, and between him and James Gabriel, who had the big run, they've really made some of the biggest plays in the game, and his legs could become really important right now.
Forced out of bounds. And the ball is at the 46-yard line of the Western Tech Colts.
And you can see even some of the players certainly look like they're really exhausted on the Etobicoke side. So, I was wondering, who would win this battle so far of attrition, but so far Western Tech seems to be coming out on top.
Here's Elefounder. He's got 5 receivers coming off the line, and he goes to the intended receiver, James Gabriel. He couldn't hold on to it.
He got his hands on it, but he threw a dart, and it was just a little bit high. And again, if it had hit him in the numbers, I think we would have had a completion. But you can see just hit him a little high, but I still think you got to come up with that catch.
Third down situation, the punt team out on the field for the Western Tech Colts. So certainly field position is so important here in the latter stage of this game.
Well, Etobicoke did what they have to. At least, they've got the ball back. But now they're in that territory where, they don't have too many more chances. They've got to score. I think.
Here's the kick, and that was under a lot of duress.
Right.
And
no,
there's a
you
bounce
can't.
to the 40-yard line. Here's the return for the Etobicoke Rams. This is Connor Kostaki, Myron Dawson, who takes the ball, and he brings it back a couple of yards on the carry.
Well, you know what my feelings are, because I just don't want to say it again about letting the ball bounce, right? It's cost them so many yards, and I'm not sure who this penalty is against. It could be no yards, or it could be blocking from behind. It is no yards, okay.
That's an adventure when you see the ball bounce like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's one of the few things that actually happens, when, one of the positives that happens when you let the ball bounce is that the other team then sees it and just immediately reacts to going towards it, but then sometimes it can get a little bit too close and not stay within the 5-yard restrictive boundary there.
6:33 and counting. Time is of the essence for the Etobicoke Rams. Shotgun. Here's Quinn Shields. He's looking to the air again. Good arm.
Yeah.
And it was thrown out of bounds. It was thrown into the Etobicoke bench.
Well, number 15, Kai Liliak, the slot back, just did his little curl over the middle again, and he was wide open. And right now, like he looked in this, like I said, this is, if you say there he is, there's Liliak right there standing there sort of with his head down and his hands on his hips because he knew he was probably open. That's a tough pass, as I said. Putting it up into the air on a cooler, wet day, where the wind is still, even if you got the wind, it's still playing havoc with the ball.
Here's the Etobicoke Rams second down situation. Fake
He's
on the
there.
handoff.
He's
Gonna
wide
go with
open.
the pass. The pass is caught. This is
big play.
Big catch for Connor Kostaki, and he goes out of bounds just beyond the Western 40. Ain't no thing like a chicken wing, Dan.
Well, that time they actually moved him out of the pocket, and they had a couple of options. They did a layered pass, right? They had 2 receivers at different levels, right? And he in fact, they had 3 levels. He picked the correct level that time. A good read by the quarterback, and they picked up some big yardage. So, again, they're still alive here, but they certainly have to get some sort of score on this drive. There he is.
Shields on the pass, and look who comes up with the catch again.
Well, that's exactly the pass that was open last time to Liliak. Okay, this time he made a nice catch though, but that's been open all day because the only person covering the middle is the free safety who is dropping off deep every time.
Wilson Harrington in the vicinity as well. There's another catch. Kai Liliak comes up with the catch, and he got rocked.
He's
by James Gabriel.
And Kai is a slot back, and all he's doing is getting over the middle and finding the open area. And of course, this time right now, Quinn Shields is finding him play after play. Great series so far they've had driving the ball down.
That was Gabe Kosmachak on the tackle, and the run by Jay Shepard gets about a yard on the carry. It's right at the goal line. A lot of excitement here with the Etobicoke Rams pressing, and 4:50 left here in this championship game.
They're letting the play.
Quinn Shields. Mm-hmm. And they fake on a handoff. And still not able to put it over. Jay Shepard took the ball.
Yeah. Well, clearly, this is going to be the play of the game right now. So far, they've got to score here, right? And they can't kick the field goal. You're not going to, when you're this close, given how difficult it has been to get yardage in this game, they've got to score on this play.
In a third down situation, a lot to think about with if you're the head coach, Alex Dosen, the head coach and the offensive coordinator.
And as we
do
talk,
you take it?
And as we talk, the clock keeps on winding down. So, clearly what will happen is if they don't score here, they'll just give up a safety. But they need to score right now.
They're going to go with the pass, and it was almost picked off.
It was picked off.
And James Gabriel comes up with the interception. A huge move for the Etobicoke Rams. It did not pay off, and James Gabriel comes up with the interception for the Western Tech Colts.
Well, my feeling is that this is really a testament, to the defensive line of Western Tech that has controlled this game from the beginning, from the very first play. They clearly realized they were not going to be able to run this ball over. They even got it down to the 1 yard line, and they still didn't have enough confidence to run this ball in. So, you have to give all the kudos you can possibly give to the defensive line. Like, if we had a player of the game, I would give it to the defensive line collectively of Western Tech so far. We still have 3:49 to go, but I think that was a backbreaker right there.
That was huge. Absolutely huge play for the Western Tech Colts. And Western Tech is going to run the ball and utilize the clock, Dan.
Well, it'll be an interesting decision here to see whether if they if they do not get a first down here, are they willing to give up a safety and then putting the game within 8 points and a 2-point converter, or are they going to punt the ball and force them to score twice regardless? I would tend to think I would make these guys score twice on me, right? But
when you talk about the defensive line for the Western Tech Colts, their offensive unit has been very solid as well with the front five.
Well, you know what? Their offense has done just enough, right? Let's face it. They had, their biggest play of the game was, the 80-yard run by James Gabriel, but they got yardage when they needed it to keep, to keep drives going, even to run time off the clock, even to get out of, quarters where they were going against the wind. So they have done what they've had to.
They've been pretty consistent throughout the game. And we got a Western Tech player being injured,
Right.
and he's being carried off the field.
Right. Or even just call the timeout with...
Looks like James Gabriel that
right.
is limping off the field. He's feeling some effects there on the sidelines now.
And I think it's important that they use the full amount of clock that they can here. They don't have to kick the ball until it gets down to the 20 seconds. Now, see, you know what?
They're going to take a knee on the play, Dan.
Well, this now puts them within one score. I'm just not sure I would have done this. Their defense has been so good. Even if they got the ball somewhere around the 25-yard line, they would still have to kick the ball, give it back to them. Now you're saying all we need is one miracle play and a 2-point convert, and we've tied the game. So it'll be interesting to see. He's put a lot of faith in his defense, but I think I would have put the faith in, making them score twice in me. Even if even if they only gained 10 or 15 yards on the kick, they would have had the ball around the 25, 30-yard line. I think it would have been asking a lot to score twice with 2 minutes. A little under 3 minutes left to go, but we'll see what happens.
The pressure is huge with 2:44 left in the ballgame. It's now 10-2 Western Tech Colts leading the Etobicoke Rams after Western took the knee in the end zone. So the Etobicoke Rams will take the ball. It'll be 1st and 10 from their own 35. This is where all the pressure's on the line.
I hate to say it. It's almost like the Jays when they couldn't get those extra run or two to be up more than just a home run swing away to win, a World Series, when they just couldn't push those extra runs in, right? Because right now, they're one score away. Oh!
Quinn Shields dropped the ball on the snap, and then he got rocked on the play as he tried to release.
The other way to look at it is just say, I have complete confidence in my defense. They've done a job all game. They're going to do it one more time. And look at that time where Levi Augustin, got in and certainly, almost caused a turnover right there.
So it'll be a 2nd down situation. And it is 10-2 for the Western Tech Colts, leading the Etobicoke Rams. after the knee by the Western Tech Colts moments ago in the end zone. 2:39 and counting. The TDSSAA championship on the line. The pass is caught. This is Jay Shepard. And he's brought down at the 35-yard line, and some Rams are looking at the officials for another flag on the play.
Well, it's only because, he was only able to get his towel or his shirt and yanked him down. But, I mean, he didn't do anything illegal other than, just hold on to the shirt as far as I could tell there. Maybe, you can see right there. See how he just has the shirt? And maybe, is that a face mask? Maybe at, let's see, if we see it one more time, coming in right at the end? Maybe.
That's what they're looking for, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Cole Stevens on the tackle for the Western Tech Colts. He's been a vital part of the Colts throughout the game. Now we've got a player down on the field right now. And that appears to be Jay Shepard. And he's been huge for the Etobicoke Rams as well.
Well, they can ill afford to have him out for too long because he's certainly one of their playmakers.
Well, this is certainly a rivalry between these two squads. The schools are not that far away from each other, and certainly the players know each other from both high school and the OVFL or OFC football. And certainly we've seen great rivalries in the past, and I cite that Northern Central Tech rivalry as among the best ever in high school football.
Well, we're now at a point here where this is third down. This pretty well is the game, I think. They've got to get a first down here. Lots of time. Quinn Shields releases, and Kai Lillack comes up with another catch. He's been huge. And again, over the middle. He's been finding that soft spot over the middle where he can just, he's getting about a 15-yard gain where he's just in between the linebackers and the free safety is too far off to be able to cover him.
That was into triple coverage, too. Hey, here it goes again with another pass attempt. And that's just not going to materialize. That was intended for number 2, Myron Dawson.
Well, frankly, he's lucky he didn't throw an interception there. They still have 2 minutes and 11 seconds. That's an eternity in Canadian football where, you're going to be able to get the ball to stop until they whistle it back in. Just keep on hitting these underneath passes that you've been so successful on for the last quarter.
Yeah, you could stretch that out from 2:11 out to about 30 minutes.
Clearly right now they've backed off a little bit. The defensive backs, they don't want to give up the big pass. So the underneath stuff is going to be open. And they have lots of time to be able to move the ball down the field.
Etobicoke, second down situation. Quinn Shields lofts the ball up and it's picked off.
No, it's not. It was dropped. That's too bad.
Dropped on the play. That's unfortunate for the Western Tech Colts.
Yeah, Gabe Wortham Bowen almost had it. I mean, again, it's going to be one of those, we don't know how this game's going to turn out, but it's going to be one of those he's going to say, oh my God, I should have had it right there, and the game was over.
Yeah, Gabe Wortham Bowen is going to have this as a nightmare for for upcoming years. He had the ball right in his pocket.
Well, great positioning on his part, but you're right. You will always look back and say, I had it in my hands. It was in my hands.
Gift wrapped. Yeah. And he could have taken it to the house.
Well,
because there's nobody back to defend.
All they wanted to do is, they'll just take the ball any way they can get it right now. And but as we said, their decision to turn this into a one possession game could be, could backfire. But their defense is still standing up strong right now.
And the Etobicoke coaches want to talk this one over. They've called a timeout with 2:05 left here in this championship game.
Well, we're down to another third down again, right? A third down, a do or die third down. If past experience is anything, they're going to send one of the slot backs. We've seen right now it's been Kai Lillack, just slide over the center, just, get somewhere around the 45-yard line, the 40-yard line, just make sure he has enough for the first down and take advantage of the fact that, they do not want to give up the home run ball.
Outstanding plays for the Western Tech Colts and the Etobicoke Rams in a hard-fought battle here in this Senior Tier 1 Championship. 2:05 left in the game. Dana McKeel, Dan Domenico, and a hard-working production crew here at Rob Ford Stadium in Etobicoke, Toronto, Canada.
Well, we have another one of those, here's the game plays, right? I mean, we could still have another bunch of them as we go along, but right now, this is the latest.
And the fans are right into this. There's a lot of emotion on the line here. Quinn Shields looking to go to the air. And this one was intended for Jay Shepard. And that was Cole Stevens back defensively for the Western Tech Colts.
They had the slot back. I should say the wide receiver in this case, Connor Kostecki, was open over the middle in exactly the same spot that we've said has been open all day, and he chose to go to the wide guy. And the problem is that he is, my only criticism here is that the quarterback has shown a real ability to throw the ball over the middle with some, with a little bit of command and and a little bit of heat in the ball.
And they're very, very consistent on it.
And he has not, other than the one miracle pass they made down here, he really hasn't been able to connect on throwing the ball high into the sideline, and I think it's going to cost them the game right here.
Western Tech Colts are going to keep the ball on the ground. They'll run it up the gut. They get it out to the 50-yard line of the Etobicoke Rams. This is a tough one for the Rams right now.
Well, you know what? I mean, like I said, we talked about, again, the defensive line has been fantastic, but the whole defense, the entire defense hasn't given up a point to, to the top-ranked team in the league so far, that averaged well over, 20-something points a game, right? So, all credit goes to Western Tech and their defense. And like I said, I saw it last week when, essentially they just outmanned Northern, and they're doing the same thing again to Etobicoke so far today.
Oh, we've got a flag up in the air as the Western Tech Colts came to the scrimmage line.
Yeah, so it's a time count violation, and it may be a loss of down as well. We'll have to wait to see if that's correct.
Henry True, the referee, making the call on the play, and the Colts will go back and compare notes on this second down or third down situation.
Yes,
now.
It is. It is a loss of down.
3rd and 8 for the Western Tech Colts. 1:35 left here in this championship game. And don't forget, Dan, coming up, Chaminade College Griffins taking on the Michael Power Trojans in the TDSSAA Senior Tier 1 Championship as well. Can't wait for that game to get started. All the action here at Rob Ford Stadium in Toronto.
Well, I have Peter Morris to thank for that call there for certainly the loss of down, because immediately, as soon as he saw it was a time count violation, he realized it. Is it in the last 2 or 3 minutes? Is it in the last couple of minutes where, where it was going to be the loss of down?
We certainly have to thank Peter Morris for an awful lot. He's known as the Little Bishop, and for good reason. Here's the kick.
Oh, nice kick, too.
And it's another submarine, and this one, the return for the Etobicoke Rams, and driving it out to the 40-yard line.
But, there's still a minute 24. Lots of time left. I mean, this is the beautiful thing about Canadian football. You don't have your 3 timeouts like the Americans or your 2-minute warning, but because they stop, they stop the clock until the ball is repositioned and whatever, you can, if you are good time managers with the ball, you can move a long way in those last couple of minutes.
The Rams with the ball at the 40-yard line, 124 and counting here in this Senior Tier 1 Championship.
And Peter Morris, as we said, has just made the point of that. This is their 4th possession in just the last couple of minutes. So it's not like they haven't had chances.
Here's Jay Shepard with the ball. And he's still struggling with the ball, and he brings it out over the 50-yard line. There's a whole lot of heart.
And the reason why I keep on saying this is that you asked me about, all these games that I've seen. I can't tell you how many games I've seen where something crazy has happened in the last minute. A long pass that's tipped or caught, or somebody breaks off a run after 3 people miss tackles. It's still, minute 17 is still an eternity. So, we've got a game here right down to the end.
Cole Stevens in on that last tackle, and he has to be considered as a defensive player of the game for the Western Tech Colts. That pass is complete, and the Etobicoke Rams got the ball and goes out of bounds on the play. That was Myra Dawson.
Yeah, but he was knocked backwards, so this ball will keep on, the time clock will keep on running here.
104 and counting as the ball is placed at midfield. It's 2nd down situation for the Rams.
Yeah, as soon as they whistle this in, the clock should start going.
And guess who made the tackle again? Cole Stevens. He's been outstanding here for the Colts. And they're going to hand off and drive this one up the gut. This is Jay Shepard on the play, and he brings it out to the Western 50.
Well, I mean, they're also keeping in mind that they need first downs here as well, too, right? I mean, and as I said, 54 seconds is still a lot of time, right? But they have to be able to keep a first down. Looks like there's somebody down on the ground here, which is going to stop the clock anyways for the next little bit.
Dan, we've had lots of action here today. These two teams very familiar with each other and certainly putting it all out on the field as we take a look at the replay with Quinn Shields handing off to Jay Shepard. Well, one thing about the Western Tech Colts, they're very good when it comes to gang tackling.
Well, as I said, the stars of the game have been collectively the Western Tech defense, but who knows what these last 54 seconds are going to hold. Really, we need one play. You need one play, and then all of a sudden, the 2-point conversion becomes the next most important play of the game, right? But
you never say never. We've seen a lot of crazy moments over the years in high school football, dating back to De La Salle's championship in 1964 when they won the TDSSAA championship.
Well, let me tell you, just this, if I'm a coach on the sideline now, I'm already thinking in my mind what my 2-point play is going to be, right? And it's something you probably would have practiced over and over again so that it becomes automatic. But of course, they still have to score their touchdown, but it's becomes moot if they don't have, a well thought out 2-point play.
They hand off, and certainly Jay Shepard again on the play, and he'll take it out to the 47-yard line of the Western Tech Colts.
Yeah, but they moved the chains here. Clearly, that's all they were interested in here was just getting a first down. It gives them a fresh set, and now I would expect them to put the ball in the air and try to get some big chunks of yard to give them a chance to throw it into the end zone.
Thinking of some great championship teams of the past, Central Tech, 1987 and 88, as we see a long bomb, and it was intended for Myron Dawson, just beyond the outstretched arms of the intended receiver on the play.
You know what? I think that was the receiver's fault that time. I thought the quarterback did a great job throwing the ball, and it looked like the receiver just slowed down a little bit. See, he's turning around looking for the ball instead of just running. I really think Connor Kostecki had to just run through that ball to give him a better chance to catch it, because I thought that was a really well-thrown ball that time.
Certainly showcasing the arm of Quinn Shields. And handoff again. This is Jay Shepard as he's looking to go wide on the play, trying to get around a couple of defenders. He goes out of bounds. And the clock stops at 27.3 seconds.
At least he was able to get out of bounds on the play, even though he didn't pick up many yards, and it puts him into, again, another do-or-die third down play. I mean, how many times have we seen this do-or-die in the last 5 minutes for Etobicoke on third down?
One guy that has really stepped up was Cole Stevens. Had a good chance to take him out. Knows his parameters. And Dan, we were talking about other great teams that have won city high school football championships, including your own, Northern in the early 90s. Georges Vanier, 1986. Adam Carlson, the quarterback. Here's Quinn Shields on the pass, and it connects.
And who does he hit? He hits
Kai Liliak.
He hits Old Reliable here, okay? Honestly, Kai Liliak has made all the plays, especially on third down for them in this last corner. And if they win the game, it's going to be because of the hookup between him and the quarterback right now.
And a suplex by the Western defenders. Here's Quinn Shields again. He's looking to go to
He's
the
got
end
him.
zone.
He's got him.
That's a catch. Does he hold on to the ball? We'll wait for the officials. They're ruling a touchdown for the Etobicoke Rams with 9.5 seconds left on the clock. Holy mackerel. Again, we look at Quinn Shields with the pass and the catch into man coverage.
What a great pass, and what a great catch that time by Myron Dawson.
Myron Dawson comes up with a huge catch.
As we said, Dana, one play. They needed just one play. They made it. Now it comes down to what's the 2-point play they're going to run right now, because the game is still in the balance.
The action never stops here at Rob Ford Stadium in the Senior Tier 1 Championship game.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. No, that was perfect execution. A great pass, and the receiver ran his route and ran it all the way to the corner. I mean, it just, You know, but this is exactly what we said. You cannot predict what's going to happen.
You know, Dan, we've seen some great moments in senior high school championship history, and that includes the great teams, the Central Tech teams I mentioned, 1987 and 88, and other teams that we've seen, Georges Vanier. How about the Etobicoke team back in 2001?
Yep.
They went on to play in the Metro Bowl. We've seen some great moments here in high school history.
Well, we have a play here that's going to, in part, determine who's going to pick up that trophy that we're looking right down now on the table here in front of us. Who is going to get that trophy for 2025?
It's the Chick Kennedy Trophy, named after one of our board directors, who is the former athletic director for the Toronto District School Board.
Well, it's come down to this. One play to at least partly determine who's going to win this championship.
Shields fake on the handoff, and the Western Tech Colts come up big time.
Oh, no.
Tackle.
Wait
it's
a second.
Quarterback sack.
Holy cow, wait a second. Is he going to...
And Toby Bednar came up with it on the tackle, the 6'3", 275-pound D lineman.
This will be a killer call.
Let's take a look at the replay again, Dan, and fake on the handoff.
He had him dead to rights.
And Toby Bednar coming up with the tackle.
Oh, I don't... That's a tough call to make. I mean, he grabbed his arm initially, and his other arm didn't grab his helmet. He just sort of got it up maybe around his collar. I'm not exactly sure how...
So it looked like a head contact there, but certainly...
Oh, he had him dead to rights. Well, they're going to get another chance now.
Big opportunity for the Etobicoke Rams with 9.5 seconds left in this championship game. All the marbles on the line. The whole season right here. You can't say enough about both teams.
Well, as we said, you know, like, what a game, you know, like you can never count, you know, you can never count any team out in these type of games. You know, the reason they're here is because they've done great things all year long, right? Either executing on offense and defense. So, again, we have one more play to determine whether we have overtime or a new champion.
And they're going to run a wildcat and try and drive it up the gut. And this is Jay Shepard, and it's a touchdown. Etobicoke Rams score on the touchdown. They drove it over the line.
Two-point convert.
It's a 2-point convert.
And that was clearly second effort, because it looks like he got stopped, and then...
Wow, we're going to have to take a look at this one again, Dan.
So...
Got the block on the
play. So right there he stopped. Right there he is stopped. And
he powered himself
and
over
I'm not
the
even
line.
sure if he had control of the ball. I mean, I know that you don't have instant replay, but that looked like the ball had come out. But he must have obviously recovered it when he got in. Yes.
Wow. Wow, that is absolutely amazing. We're tied at 10 apiece.
Yeah.
And we will have to go into overtime on this one.
Yeah.
This is great.
But see, again, as I was saying, I personally would have kicked the ball rather than give up the safety, because I would have made them score on my defense twice. Now, they might have easily, made a bad punt. They could have easily got a touchdown or kicked a field goal and would have made my discussion, my argument moot. But when you gave them the 2 points when they hadn't scored on you the entire day, and you basically said you need to score once on us, it gave Etobicoke the chance they needed, and they took advantage of it.
Dan, let's discuss overtime and just what the rules are when it comes to overtime.
Good question. I have to.
We'll certainly compare notes when it comes to the overtime period. There's still 9.5 seconds left on the clock here in regulation time. The Etobicoke Rams tying it up. And Jay Shepard taking the ball over for the 2-point conversion. Unbelievable.
So our overtime rules are going to be, it's not sudden death, it's a shootout. You start on the 35, and if you go in and score, the other team is still going to get their chance. And I guess it's, whoever comes out on top, it is. It's, if it takes as long as it takes.
So they'll just rotate until they figure out who gets the score first.
So we need somebody to score, otherwise we haven't paid the rent, for, to go until 9 o'clock tonight, so.
Well, that tackle at midfield, that was a short kick. And able to recover on the play was James Gabriel.
Right. But remember, we still have, 5 seconds left in this, 4.8 seconds left in this game, right? And before we get to the overtime, and barring some miracle play here, but again, I've seen it happen, so I'm not going to, discount it, but we'll see what happens.
1st and 10 for the Western Tech Colts, a ball on the 42.
Again, it's not outside the realm of possibility. They hang up a long one here. They get called for interference, and then instead of doing a doink, he puts it actually through, on the last play of the game here. So anything's possible.
Oh my gosh.
And even though there won't be any time on the clock, remember the beauty about Canadian football is that.
Almost picked off. It was thrown out into the flat.
You know what?
The Etobicoke Rams replied very quickly. Almost picked it off. That was Keith Agba on the play.
That was the reverse of the last play of the first half, where it should have been an interception the other way for a touchdown for Western Tech. I mean, really, throw the ball up and hope somebody, gets an interference call, for heaven's sakes.
0.6 seconds left on the clock, and we could certainly see.
Well, you know what? It's irrelevant the time, right? They've got to hope that they throw it up and get an interference call and get one more play, right? But you'd only still get the 15 yards on the interference penalty. Yeah, but you get another play.
So here we are, Western Tech Colts. They're going to run this one.
Oh.
And James Gabriel taken down. So we're going into overtime in this senior Tier 2 or Tier 1 championship game between the Western Tech Colts and the Etobicoke Rams.
Yeah.
Had the Tier 2 championships coming up next week.
Right.
I think it's after 2.
Okay. So I've been told if it's still tied after 2 touchdowns or whatever each, then you have to go for the 2-point conversion, which is what we've seen, in a lot of leagues go to when they go to this shootout type format.
Yeah. Well, certainly, Dan, we've seen some great moments here in this championship game.
This is not a good thing here. We can see that one of the big players, Jay Shepard for Etobicoke, who plays running back and defensive back, as a 5-year kid, is being helped off the field here. This could be a devastating loss for them right now if he can't make it back into the game.
Well, it looks like he wants to get back into the huddle with the team, but
they're certainly taking him to the team. Whether or not he can play or not is going to be interesting to see.
Try and determine the extent of the injury. It looks like his calf is kind of tightening up.
Right.
A good panoramic view of Rob Ford Stadium with the new lights that are here at the stadium.
Well, and as we've said before, the only thing you can say that is going to be for certain in these type of games is that they're going to be uncertain, right? That's the...
What a soundbite.
Well, I mean, honestly, you just never know. I mean, let's face it. Etobicoke had not moved the ball for 58 minutes of this game, right? Not even getting close. And, they put together the drive in the last minute. They made, they must have made 3 or 4 third down plays to keep it moving. And then they had the big strike, into the end zone there for the touchdown. So.
Wow. So the teams will converse at midfield with the officials and go over the overtime rules. As this game will go into overtime, the senior Tier 1 championship for the TSSAA Chick Kennedy Championship Trophy.
Well, and the interesting thing is the psychology, for example, of both teams. Like, who do you give the advantage to right now? Is the advantage to, for example, Etobicoke because, hey, they've just scored and, they're on sort of the high of, or do you say, or does Western Tech say, hey, we've really been the better team and our defense has done a better job and our kicker has just doinked the ball twice, so clearly if they have to kick a field goal, he's probably due one right now, right? And you assume you assume both teams are going to be using the wind here right now, which all of a sudden extends the field goal kicking ability if they need to kick field goals. So, a lot of things are going on here now to help to determine who's going to win this game.
So many factors involved as we bring this overtime, brought to you by MLAC and the Toronto Argonauts, supporting Toronto high school football for many, many years.
Well, this is interesting. It looked like, I don't know who's going to get the ball first, but they look like they're choosing to go into the wind. Unless I'm reading the wind incorrectly here, but for most of the game, the wind has gone from.
And it's come from the west. It's now blowing from south to north.
Well, and it's been like that all game. I mean, I've been looking at this little Marchant banner we have down here, and it's been, the two Marchant banners, it's been mostly north. So I'm trying to figure out why they chose to go into the wind here.
Just taking a look at where the ball is placed, 35-yard line, and the Western Tech Colts will take.
The field goal kicker alone must be, having going into hysterics because he's already doinked. He's already doinked it twice going this way, right? So
the clock is shut off, and they'll simply run with the play.
Oh,
and
he's
they're
there.
going to go with the pass.
He's got him,
and a catch. The catch! What a catch by David Cruz! As it go right up the middle on the play. What a beautiful catch.
Now, I tried to explain this before, but I'm really surprised why Western Tech didn't do this earlier in the game. They have been successful. They've been successful throwing the ball deep over the middle all season long, and it took them until this point. Now, talk about perfect timing, but they've got the ball on the 1-yard line, and if they score a touchdown, that's huge pressure going to be put on Etobicoke to respond here.
Well, Carter Day was the defensive back on the play, and he was all over David Cruz.
And they run
it into the end zone. That's a touchdown for the Western Tech Colts. Looking at Jamar Shakes, takes it over.
28 or 6.
No, it's Jamar Shake's number, 26, but that's 190 pounds right there. That was going to be very difficult to stop down here. I mean, this clearly is one of the advantages that Western Tech had in this game is the ability to grind out those tough yardage, when you get down near the goal line.
That's some big boys up on that front line for the Western Tech Colts.
Now, again, all of a sudden, current converts now become so much more important, right? Because you can't score and then. Oh, and he just got it through.
Just gets it through the uprights.
How did they miss that? Oh, my heavens. Oh, God. I mean, it looks like the man almost went past the kicker.
17-10 for the Western Tech Colts, and this is the opportunity now for the Etobicoke Rams.
Oh, look at it. You're taught, much like you might have heard last night in the Raiders game, you're taught to go and try to take the ball off the kicker's foot, and he just missed it. I mean, and he allowed it to go, the convert to get through.
I was mentioning the Western Tech Colts front line, some big boys out there as well. Cooper Savicki, 6'6", 335 pounds. He's a senior in the lineup for the Western Tech Colts and an integral part of the lineup. He's a captain, and he's been huge here today. So here's the Etobicoke Rams, and this is their opportunity from the 35. There's the pass.
Ooh.
And it was knocked down and almost picked off. That was number 27 on the play for the Western Tech Colts. Gabe William Bowen.
Yeah, but again, I've been sort of saying, I don't want to keep on saying the same thing, but throwing short, wide passes is not going to do it here. I mean, they have had all their success throwing the ball over the middle. Yes, they scored the touchdown on that one fade into the corner, but that was an all or nothing pass, which he threw it down the field. You can't go sidelines. You can't throw to the sideline a short pass with this wind and the way this defense is playing right now.
Second down situation for the Etobicoke Rams. We're into overtime. They hand off. They're going to drive this one up the gut. That's Jay Shepard, who moments ago was limping off the field.
That's right. And now, what a surprise. We're into another third down and do or die. I mean, if they do not get it here, again, the game will be over. But so far, Etobicoke it must be at least 4 or 5 times they have converted on third or lose, right? So we'll see what happens.
You got no clock. It's all about the down. And as I say that, we've got the 2 legendary timers right behind us in Ted Goldberg and Peter Morris. And third down. That's all on the marbles, all on the line. It's all on the table.
Can they do it one more time?
Quinn Shields looking to go to the end zone. The pass and out of bounds, and that's it.
No, I think he got enough. I think he got enough.
He got enough for the first down.
Yes, he did.
Wow, I thought for sure that he just went out for
See, the difference
before the yard
is,
marker.
the
and
difference
there it
is he threw to the short side and it was just a little out, right? That, and it was to the number 2 receiver. It wasn't to the number 1 receiver. So that was a good play selection right there. Last time when it was almost intercepted, it was thrown to the wide sideline, to the boundary side, I should say to the field side, and it could have been intercepted. But they're still alive. They've done it again on third down.
Here we go again. Quinn Shields looking to go to the end zone.
Oh, this is intercepted.
And it's picked off. The Western Tech Colts.
It's over.
Picked it off. They win the senior Tier 1 championship game with a 17-10 victory over the Etobicoke Rams on an interception. Outstanding performance by both squads, but that was just the big pickoff.
Well, you know what? It wasn't a bad play selection. He just didn't throw it far enough. He needed to throw it into the end zone so that the receiver, who actually, might have had a step on the defenders, would have had a chance to run by them.
Yeah, we take a look at the replay,
See,
Dan.
right there, he had that step. He had that step on the defender, but he threw it short, which allowed the the safety and the corner to converge on the play.
Cole Stevens comes up with the interception, and he has to be considered the MVP
absolutely.
of the game for the Western Tech Colts. He put in an outstanding performance in this game.
100%. Like I said, I just can't say enough for how well collectively as a unit the defensive team for Western Tech played. They were fantastic, and but full credit to Etobicoke for still, right until the end, staying in the game and making plays. I mean, how amazing was that they must have made, as I said, 5 or 6 third down and either make or lose the game.
And we're going to remain with the game in the post presentations. So we're just indicating to our production team we will remain in the game and we'll provide the commentary as we go forward with the presentations as well. It should be interesting to see who is going to win the MVP awards for both Etobicoke and Western Tech. Certainly Cole Stevens has to be considered.
Absolutely, but as I said, it's for me this was certainly what you would call a team effort. Every now and then. Now, clearly there was some fantastic, plays. Like James Gabriel, his touchdown run clearly was the difference maker when he went 80 yards for the touchdown, right? And certainly, I would say, Al Founder was as integral to the team scoring the points as anybody here. He made the big passes at the right time. He used his legs, to get first downs and to get yardage when they needed to. Considering, the conditions of the game, he didn't really. I'm not sure. Did he throw an interception or maybe only had one? I mean, but he certainly didn't turn over the ball, and there wasn't fumbles all over the place that you typically get in this type of weather. So I mean, I think there's a lot of people that could go into this decision, but I think this is truly one of the better defensive efforts I've seen in a championship game that was so close, and it was certainly exciting all the way down to the end.
Oh, we haven't seen an exciting game like that in quite a while, but we have seen overtime games in the past in the city championships and bowl games here in Toronto, but today was just outstanding. Just watching how the players performed, executed, and the plays that were called in.
Well, and I'll tell you, I remember very early when I started coaching, Northern was in a 5, you might even remember this, was in a 5 overtime game against Central Tech that we won. And unfortunately, we had to go and play, in a Metro Bowl game 2 days afterwards, and we had nobody left. Everybody was just, after 5, after 5 extra overtimes against Central Tech in a game that was just back and forth, everybody on both sides expended everything. And you could see that was the same thing out there today. They just gave it everything they had, and we had a fantastic game. And while one team had to win and another had to lose, both teams can hang their heads proudly. That was a game well played, and certainly was full value for a championship game.
I certainly concur, Dan, as we wait for the Western Tech Colts to line up on their 50-yard line and presentations made by our Toronto High School Football Committee and representatives from the Toronto District School Board who are here today. And outstanding performance by both teams, and for Etobicoke Rams to be able to come back with 29 seconds left on the clock to bring it back to a tie ball game. Unbelievable performance, and certainly showcasing 2 solid quarterbacks in Nate Alafounder for Western Tech Colts and Quinn Shields for the Etobicoke Rams.
Well, as I said, these teams were, played, definitely sort of showed themselves to be the 2 best teams in the league over the course of the year, and Western Tech was full value for winning. I mean, they had control of the game right up until the end. But, the one thing you have to say about Etobicoke is, they had the heart of a champion. They fought until the end. They scored that touchdown. They got the 2-point play. It's just they came up a little bit short in their attempt to, match touchdowns. And again, Western Tech stepped up when they had to. What a great pass from Alafounder, to go down to the 1-yard line on the very first play of the overtime. Just fantastic.
Dan, just looking at the Etobicoke Rams, and their MVP award winner went to Kai Lilac, and to Cole Stevens for the Western Tech Colts. You can't argue with those decisions.
Absolutely
They
not.
were
No
outstanding decisions.
100%. And like I said, without those impressively, clutch catches by Kai, Etobicoke wouldn't have been in the position to get that tying touchdown. He saved their bacon time after time, again on 3rd down, when they had those do-or-die 3rd down plays, where he was catching the ball over the middle, where he was just running a little curl route into the void that exists in the middle, and they did that to perfection. It just, like I said, they maybe needed to do that 1 or 2 more times to give them a chance to win. But full value to both of our MVPs because they were fantastic on the game.
And we're going to wrap up everything here at Rob Ford Stadium with the Western Tech Colts coming out with a
this is mine right here.
17-10 victory over the Etobicoke Rams in overtime. For Dan Domenico and an entire outstanding production crew, I'm Dana McKeel saying so long from Rod Ford Stadium. We're going to reset for the TDSSAA championship game, a senior tier 1 championship featuring the Chaminade College Griffins and the Michael Power Trojans. We'll see you very shortly. Thank you.
move it over a little bit.
I got it. It's okay. Thanks, Sarah.
Oh, thanks.
Well, I hope to see you. I hope sometime.
It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. With you and everything.
I know. Well, enjoy Florida.
Thank you so much. And hoping your mom and dad are fine.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Good? Yeah. I know, you got the baby. Good stuff. Oh, brave of you, man. Last week it was colder, I think. though, eh?
No, and it was rainy, so I didn't know it was gonna rain.
I just realized last night who your son was.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You gave me the right ones. Yeah.
I just figured out Baron. I was with my son, right? Yesterday. I was like, no way, that's her. He's good. He's good, man.
Hey, this is yours?
Oh, no.
I thought you got the
Yeah, the cell phone's enough.